This is Monty in the Morning, the show Phoenix Magazine readers voted #1 talk radio show in Arizona.
#1 during your morning commute.
#1 whenever news breaks during your day.
And #1 whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is the Monty Show, presented by the Advocates. Find the best injury attorneys in the business online right now at theadvocates.com. Good morning, Jake.
How we doing?
Not good, because there's not a whole hell of a lot going on in sports. The Utah Jazz are just past the halfway mark of the season. Here's a question for you. Are the Utah Jazz having a good season? I would tell you they are. I feel like there is a lot to be excited about with this team. Does the record matter? And is Walker Kessler a Rookie of the Year candidate? We'll talk all about that. Will Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, ever come on the program here on the Monty Show?
No. What?
We got an answer yesterday as to why Ryan Smith, the owner of the Jazz, has not come on the show yet.
The program,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally mispronounced program. My bad. If you are a member of the exclusive Monty Show only Pimpster Club you got a video of me rapping Snoop Dogg lyrics this morning.
Yeah.
There's your exclusive content for the day. Don't say we didn't do nothing for you. You know. That was cool. I would encourage you to join because you get an exclusive video every day. Right here on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere you get a podcast, just search The Monty Show. But make sure you get over to YouTube, search The Monty Show, like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and then click join. For $10 a month, you get exclusive content every single day, and you get access to our members-only Instagram group, which is spectacular. Whether we're talking, what were we talking about last night in that group? We were talking about what we watch when the Jazz don't play or when there's no football on. Like Jake was talking about how he's still not copulating with other people. He is a non-sexed virgin.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just been a really good Instagram. You too can find out about Jake's repopulation strategy in our exclusive Instagram group for members only when you click join. Let's start the show this morning, presented by the Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. Talking about the Utah Jazz. I guess the simple question is, are the Utah Jazz having a successful season? I would tell you the Utah Jazz are. I don't think there's any doubt that when this season tipped off, most people expected this team to go into full tank mode. They have done anything but tank. And I think when you look at where the Jazz are, you can't help but be excited about what's going to happen here in 3 weeks at the trade deadline. I don't think you can help but be excited about the NBA All-Star Game being at Vivint Arena this year. There's a lot to be excited about around this club that has nothing to do with basketball on the court. I think that's a big win. But as far as the game goes, you can see that this team, Danny Ainge, Ryan Smith, reset their house, and now you feel like they're heading in the right direction. So, Jake, to this point, do you think it's been a successful season for the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they've, outperformed expectations. I think what you said there is spot on. Headed into the season, everyone thought that this was going to be, a 20-win team. And that's not what this team is. I think they're obviously well on track to, pass that mark and do some nice things and be better than that we thought they were going to be as a fan base. And I think that, this whole conversation hinges on your ability to appreciate what they're doing now instead of saying that they suck. You have to be able to say, hey, yeah, preseason expectations were a lot different than what we got. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. So, yeah, I think they're having a good season. I just think that Jazz fans, won't really be happy until there's true winning again, until there is true, contending again. And I look at this team, and on most nights, they're, 2 to 4 possessions behind the team they're playing. That's kind of where they find themselves. So, they beat Donovan the other night, and that was great. That was an awesome moment for everyone involved. But now it's kind of time to move on from that moment and kind of time to get to the business of the trade deadline. And I think that largely the trade deadline and how Danny goes about operating in this window is going to define whether this was a good season or not. Because really, again, the win-loss column doesn't really matter as much. It's more about what you did to build the roster and what direction you're heading in. So if Danny has a baller trade deadline and does a bunch of great things and people are really happy, then I imagine people will be like, yeah, they had a good season. If Danny has a trash trade deadline and they don't really do much and they add one guy and that's it, then I think people will probably be like, yeah, it was kind of a rough season. We didn't win too much. We were in most games we played, but we just weren't good enough to win them, and we didn't really have a good deadline.
What expectations do you have when it comes to the trade deadline? Because I think this is actually a really interesting conversation. What expectations do you have? My expectations are that there will be significant changes at the deadline. And yes, I believe they will do a lot of heavy lifting in the summer. But I would expect to see Jordan Clarkson and Malik Beasley at a minimum traded at this deadline. To me, that's transformative. That is significant dealings, because you also know, as we've reported on this show, that sources inside the Utah Jazz have told us that Jordan Clarkson has not been willing to take any kind of a discount. Jordan Clarkson is expecting between 64 and $66 million on a minimum of a 3-year deal. That's a lot of bread for an organization that probably is not going to contend for a championship in that window. Mm-hmm. And even if they do, Jordan's going to be pushing 34 years old at the back end of that deal. That doesn't seem like smart business for the Utah Jazz. But then again, that's why we're talk show hosts and we're not NBA general managers or owners. It's a very curious position, Jake. And I wonder, what is it that you think the Jazz should do at the deadline?
Yeah, I think that what they should do at the bare minimum of what you should do is you should just simply be having as many conversations as possible. I think that both the best thing and the hardest thing is that you have a lot of options as far as the trade routes you want to go. And I think the goal really should be, let's get as many trades on the table as we possibly can, and then sort of measure and evaluate those trades and make the best one for the organization. And I think Danny obviously has an idea of what he wants to do, and I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say that Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt are part of those conversations. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. But who's to say, really? I think we've talked a lot about the last week and a half about 3-team deals and all these different situations. And everyone is constantly Twitter DMing me or asking in our members group, what are the trade updates? What are they doing? And the truth is yeah, we have information. We have some things we've heard or whatever. But the truth is Danny knows what he wants, and then he knows what's available to him. And to me, I just hope that we don't get another Bogdanovich-style deal. And I don't think we will, right? I don't think that Danny, I think Danny made that deal despite the Lakers, and that was a very clear message he sent. But he needs to perform. He needs to do a good job this deadline in particular, not next year's deadline or the year after that, but this year's deadline, because if you do a good job here, that's going to push you forward in the draft, and that's going to expedite your timeline. And all we've heard from Danny is, I don't have time to be on a losing team, essentially.
Yeah, I think it is. One of the things that really stands out is when you listen to Danny Ainge talk about the state of this team, and you listen to Danny talk about timelines and whatnot, I think it's pretty clear he's not here for a long rebuild.
The reality is we've had 16 years of, it's better than mediocrity for sure at times in the last 16 years, but at the same time, it really hasn't been championship caliber basketball. And 16 years without getting past the second round of the playoffs, I think is not what any of us want. And so the change is just, okay, here we are with veteran team, had been all in on this veteran team. I think Dennis Lindsey has done a fantastic job in this organization, as did Quinn Snyder. And but I just think we're starting over.
Yeah, I think it is. I would agree with that. It hasn't been mediocre, but has it been really good? And you listen to Danny talk about that, you remember that he also said he's too old to do a full Oklahoma City style rebuild.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear that this team is all in on winning as soon as possible. I also think that the All-Star game complicates that because of the financial resources it takes. The money you have to spend to host an All-Star game is significant. And listen, the arena, Vivint Arena, is a palace. The place is gorgeous. It is, obviously we've been to a handful of games this year. It's fantastic.
Right.
So I understand it's all worth that. But it also slows down the money that you're going to spend on human beings with the idea of winning games. And my main point in all of this is that I do think they're all in on winning. Having said that, you've got to make deals to help yourself next season. Mm-hmm. You've got to make deals to put yourself in a prime position to either acquire a superstar in the summer or draft. And I think that's also a huge question is, should the Utah Jazz take all these draft assets that they have and leverage them for a superstar, or should they draft that talent and hope they can develop it? And I'm more in line of 50-50, if I'm being honest with you. Take some of this draft capital that you have. Like, if you trade Clarkson and Beasley, I would expect you to have at least one more first-round pick this season, this coming draft. That'd be 4 in the first round. Now, again, you have your own, right, which you're going to be middle of the table on that, depending on how you finish.
Yeah.
You have, obviously, the Brooklyn pick is really interesting right now, because without Kevin Durant, obviously their record's going to go down. So that's definitely something you have to look at. Minnesota, who's now behind you in the standings, so their pick is better than yours, which is perplexing. And we talked about this yesterday on Twitter. It's amazing to me that they are essentially the exact same team record-wise this season that they were last season.
Yeah.
And they trade with the Jazz, obviously, to acquire Rudy Gobert. And it's what Matt Cordero said on Twitter. Who knew the 2 7-footers, trying to build around 2 7-footers in a league where forwards run the floor routinely would be a problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was a terrible idea. And you're the exact same team this year that you were last year.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, NBA sources were telling us that the Suns and the Timberwolves were involved in conversations essentially around a deal where the Suns would end up with D'Angelo Russell and Alex Caruso from the Bulls. So trades like that are happening.
Yeah.
And the question is, if you are the Utah Jazz, should you be trading a guy like Jordan Clarkson and Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt to the Suns to get a first-round pick? My answer is yes, I would want at least one first-round pick in that deal. But, yeah, I think you should be doing that.
Yeah, I think that that deal is a really interesting, situation. In the Suns, the Suns are the classic example of a great team that has just fallen from grace. They just have struggled. They've run into injuries. Like, I maintain that even at fully healthy, they weren't an NBA Finals team this year. The vibe just was not correct. And I think when you see all these deals happening, clearly it's no secret the Suns are trying to make deals and operate. But if I'm Danny Ainge, this is exactly the type of situation that I want to be involved in. This is the type of situation that I want to see pan out. We told you, I think 2 weeks ago now it's been, or whatever, it's been a week and a half, about the, Phoenix Jazz Atlanta situation, how that was sort of progressing and playing out. Now that's kind of fizzled out, and you see now the Suns are moving on to the next thing. But if I'm Danny Ainge, I'm sitting here saying, okay, yeah, just because that one didn't work out doesn't mean I can't get involved in this one or that one or whatever. So
right.
That's kind of my point. Like the question of, hey, should you trade all your draft assets to acquire a superstar, or should you trade your draft assets to move up in the draft to get a guy that you feel, no one's ever a guarantee, but a pretty safe bet, if you will, a safe gamble in the draft that he'll turn into something? I tend to want to be more in the camp of I want to get someone established and I want to move this thing along. So that would be my goal. I would want to, spend a good bit of this draft capital in a trade with another team to get somebody. And that to me is how I'll go about it. But again, we are seeing better development this year out of the Utah Jazz organization than we had in prior years. So
I would agree with that.
Like you're seeing Walker Kessler come along a little bit. You're seeing, I firmly believe, I am firmly in the Ochai camp. I think Ochai has a lot of potential. I think he is developing. I do think there are certain instances where he's in the wrong spot on the floor, but generally speaking, he's in the right spot 9 out of 10 plays.
Right, but there are people who have Walker Kessler as the second or third selection for NBA Rookie of the Year at the halfway mark.
Yeah, which I with all due respect to Walker, like I guess that's just a stats thing. I don't know. Like I don't want to sit here and try to send the message I'm not a Walker Kessler fan, because I do like what he brings to the table. I love his natural ability to block shots. I do think he is just very young, because he is very young. He's a rookie. Like, you're going to make rookie mistakes. But if we're being honest, like, this isn't even a conversation. I mean, Paolo Banchero is by far the Rookie of the Year, and I just don't even think it's all that close.
I think when you look at Walker and you put him in a group with Jaden Ivey or Keegan Murray or Jabari Smith, Jalen Duran, you put him in that group of rookies who are the guys that come to mind. I mean, obviously, Paolo Banchero's better than all those guys.
Yeah.
And if we're looking at upside, I do think that Walker Kessler has Defensive Player of the Year upside.
Yeah.
I think he is an elite shot blocker. Will he ever develop a mid-range jumper? I have no idea. But I think Walker Kessler is a really good part of this team right now. Having said all of that, I do believe that the Jazz will be aggressive. I would absolutely, if you're a Utah Jazz fan, I would have every one of my eyeballs focused squarely on the Phoenix Suns. That team is in trouble. Their top 6 guys are not available to them right now. You look at Shamet is even out right now. Campaign's out right now. That's not even, to say that Chris Paul and Devin Booker are out right now. You have all of this talent out of the lineup right now for the Phoenix Suns. They're struggling. They are plummeting. You lost by 30-plus points last night to Denver. You got to go make a move. And if they're able to pull off a move, if they're able to make a deal, I don't know that Jay Crowder helps Minnesota. He doesn't hurt Minnesota. That certainly is true.
Right.
They have this awkward situation with D'Lo in Minnesota. They need to make a trade there, frankly. I think that Jay Crowder fits in for the right now, and clearly they are in win right now mode.
Yeah, they don't have. That's the problem. They don't have much of a choice. I mean, you spent all this money on acquiring Gobert's contract and Cat and like Anthony Edwards and D'Lo. Like, you have.
I think D'Lo's making $31 million.
Yeah, so
That's
like
a lot of
you're
money,
spending all this money, and I just there are two teams. There are two types of teams when it comes down to the deadline. The teams that are spending money and trying to win right now in their current situation with their roster, and the team that's either building or maybe just is indifferent and, whatever. For whatever reason, they're not in win now mode. There's a variety, but for whatever reason, they're not in win now. And so when you look at the T-Wolves, they're that team that's got to operate like, hey, we have to win now, and we're not going to be able to sit here and be a sub 500 team the whole year.
But the question is, who's willing to help them? Because they don't have a whole lot of you've got a couple of guys you would move there. You don't have a whole lot of guys where you're like, yep, and here, let me give you 3 draft picks. Because the Jazz essentially own all their draft picks.
Yeah.
So Minnesota's in a tough spot. It really is. All right, let's get your comments in here. Welcome to the program this morning. Always appreciate you guys. Please, right now, hit the like button. We have had about 250 people watch the show right now. We've got 11 likes. Let's pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. If all 57 of you hit the like button right now, that would make a huge difference. Funky Orion, first one in, says, whether the Jazz reach the playoffs or not, I think they did pretty well as a team. Walker Kessler has big potential. I would agree. He has potential, but potential is such a dangerous word. Which will be interesting. Kurt Meyer says, good morning, people. Good morning, Kurt. Mark Hales, welcome to Mornings with the Monies. Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought you said mornings with the monies.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Teddy Wayman, morning, guys. Teddy, what's up? How are you? He says, hit the like button on your way in, people. Appreciate that. Talking with Raphael podcast.
What's up, dude?
How's the baby, Raphael? Hope you're well. Good to see you. Giggity, what's up? Brett Robbins. Don called Kessler out, calling his coverage. What the F was he thinking? Well, it's a common, in lower levels of basketball, that's very common. Like what he's talking about there is Donovan Mitchell, after the game the other night, pulled Walker Kessler aside and essentially said to him, stop telling me what you're doing defensively. Because Walker is yelling, dropping, like he's saying, hey, I'm dropping back in the paint here, or I'm going under, or he's essentially yelling out loud what he was going to do. But that's a very common practice in lower levels of basketball for a communication thing. And I think that, yeah, it's absolutely a mistake at the NBA level.
Yeah.
Because even when a guy like Donovan Mitchell doesn't know what you're going to do, you're still going to get beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not uncommon, frankly. Mike Chase. Hey, Mike Chase. Good to see you. Where you been, man? Arlington Bear says, not sure what's worse, when Monty sings on the program or that Snoop rap. I did put a rap in the...
Bro, Chris, dude, chill. That was some morning vibes, dude.
That was. We were bumping because my mama ain't home.
And even the Monty Ghost was in and chilling with us, and it was sick.
Yeah, I did a little rap in the Monty Show Instagram members only group this morning. We were listening to a little Snoop before the show. Wow. I thought it was amazing. D-Rock, good to see you, my friend. Ken Williams, how are you? Wow, I couldn't find the show. LOL, thanks for the link. What do you mean you couldn't find the show? Like button, casuals, hit it. Exactly right. Luis Capazzo in the GZ. Morning, everyone. Check your subscription and notification. YouTube failed me this morning. Really?
YouTube's been having some technical issues on the backside.
Yeah, for those who don't know, YouTube made a major infrastructure update in the last 3 weeks. Like their new terms of service for us creators came out yesterday, and the way that they're going to deliver shorts. And so YouTube has had some hiccups, but they're working on it. Yeah, the ink's not dry yet. Exactly. Kenai Johnson, KJ, how the heck are you, dude? Hope you're doing well. Top of the morning, fellas. Already smashed that like button. Let's go. Ken Williams, the rancher, says, I'm not giving up on Vando. He does a lot of the little things, hustle plays. That's the interesting question. I think Jared Vanderbilt's one of those guys for the Utah Jazz. For instance, you have to look at the Phoenix Suns with Jared Vanderbilt. Yeah. Because I think the Phoenix Suns would really like to add Jared Vanderbilt to their squad. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. He's a great rim runner. He's a good defender. Yeah, he makes plays. But he is super limited offensively.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, Ken, I'm shipping his ass out. Like, he's not a championship player. He is someone who is 7th or 8th on a championship team at most. I think that he's young. I think he needs development, but I think that for the Jazz, he's valuable in a trade conversation, and that's just the reality of the situation. I don't hate the guy. I just think that his mechanics are wonky. I think his upper body is separated from his lower body, which is why the ball spins sideways when he shoots it.
He's never going to be a gifted three-point shooter. But it will never be easy.
But here's the thing, and I agree with that, but I think that he could develop into a serviceable corner 3 guy. He could. But that's going to take a lot of work, and the Jazz don't have that kind of time.
And I also think you can get similar production and similar output from an Ochai Agbaji.
Yeah.
Because Ochai's already a really easy corner 3 guy.
Well, and the Vando apologists will say, well, but Ochai doesn't have Vando's length, and Vando has this great body. And it's like, yeah, he does. But the thing is Ochai is clearly going up and to the right. Ochai is clearly on a path where, hey, he just needs more minutes to get comfortable shooting the NBA 3 in an NBA building at NBA pace. And you see it pan out. And I think that, you talk about hustle plays there, Ken. I think Ochai makes a lot of hustle plays. Dude is always in an opportunistic position to rebound.
But listen, Ochai Agbaji is what you need in the NBA. Yeah. Jared Vanderbilt, size and position, he should be a great power forward, but he's not. And I think you're up and to the right, meaning he's getting better.
Yeah.
With Ochai is true. I think Jared Vanderbilt I think he's going to improve. I just don't know. Is he anything better than a Nerlens Noel? Is he anything better than that type of player who's super limited? And obviously they're not the same player,
I'd love to see.
But you know what I mean.
I would love to see Vando at some point in his career turn into Grant Williams. That's what I would love to see. Grant Williams.
Come on now.
Grant, what?
Grant Williams.
Yeah, Grant Williams was not some great three-point shooter 3 years ago. You think Grant Williams was some amazing shooter? Grant Williams developed. Grant Williams became somebody that earned his minutes through knocking down the three. And what I'm saying is that, yeah, right now, Vando's not a good three-point shooter. He should not be shooting the ball more than 3 times a game. But what I am saying is that there are enough people in the NBA, in this world, that can teach you how to shoot a basketball properly. There's no excuse not to. Like, if Vando took the summer and paid Lethal Shooter, you really think that you wouldn't see an increase in his shot?
Well, I'll give you credit. Grant Williams has dramatically improved his three-point shooting. 41.2%. He was 25% when he came in the league 3 years ago.
You see what I mean, though?
And he was shooting 1 a game. Now he's shooting 4 a game. So, yeah, I if Vando ever gets to consistently 32, 35% from 3, it's over. He's a really good player.
He's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but right now he's not that guy, and I don't think the Jazz are going to invest in him as that guy. But that's just me. All of our Utah Jazz talk on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at Quick Quack Car Wash. Heading over to the Quickity Quack today. We're actually not going to get rain or snow today here in Utah. Unfortunately. But yeah, we will not get rain or snow today. So going to head over to Quick Quack, get the car washed. I'll be in and out of there in 5 minutes. It is a great car wash. They're friendly people. And frankly, the thing that I really like about Quick Quack Car Wash is that people can't stop checking me out.
Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you the secret to impressing my neighbors, the wife, coworkers, you name it. I just swing by Quick Quack. It seriously takes 2 minutes, and people can't stop, won't stop checking me out. Getting a clean car is definitely my best life hack. Kids are messy, camping's dirty, but my truck sure isn't.
I mean, he ain't wrong. People can't stop, won't stop checking me out. And then I get my car washed, and it gets even worse. Like, I mean, the line of Draper hot moms is out the...
Please.
Down the street. Come on. I worked in Quick Quack, Draper hot moms, and can't stop, won't stop, all into the same sentence, and I don't get any love for that.
That's a really good take.
I don't get any love for the Draper MILF bomb.
Dude.
Holy cow!
It is a good take, man.
Does the Draper MILF bomb ever get old on this program? No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
Draper moms.
Anyway.
Draper, what a town.
It is. Ken Williams says, nope, I'm keeping him because that's just me. I like him too. Okay.
Hey, and that's cool. That's cool.
Okay. Brett Robbins says, all the Cougars checking Jake Subi out.
Hey, play the video. Let's go. Play the tape. Where is it?
No, I'm not going to play it.
Why won't you play it?
Because I am not going to condone you destroying Zion National Park. Listen, look at you polluting our great open lands in the great state of Utah.
It's probably different than what you're thinking, though.
You hack. Anyway, Severe says, the thing about Vando is I can find another player like him in the NBA. There will be a lot of Vandos that come in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I think that's a thing. Like, I think you can find guys who do what Vando does. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not an anti-Vando thing. It's I want to win sooner than later, and Jared Vanderbilt's not a project I want to invest in.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And again, I look at this situation with the Suns, and I think that if the Suns make this deal, here's a question about the Suns: should the Suns trade DeAndre Ayton? Because this is the brass tacks of the Phoenix Suns.
Yes,
this is what we're talking about. And when you look at the Suns and you look at where they are. They're in a real tipping point here. Has the championship window closed on the Suns?
No.
I don't think it's closed. But are you going to be married to a guy like Cam Johnson? Or are you willing to give him up so that somebody will take DeAndre Ayton?
The championship window hasn't closed, but it's being held open with a toothpick. You need to make a trade to solidify your championship window. And if you don't, that thing is going to slam shut and, deadlock bolt closed. Like you're not going to, you can't afford to mess this up. And I'm going to keep saying it. This whole, the sale of this team and Sarver and that whole conundrum really has put, gasoline on a fire that was controlled. butt burning. You know, the DeAndre Ayton situation has not been good, and I think the guy is good. I think he's soft mentally, but he is a contributor. There's no question about it. Like, you don't have to like him as a guy, but he's giving you, I think he averages like 23 a night or something like that. Like, he does work. Like, so to me, yeah, you do need to trade him. But the question really is, who are you going to trade him to? Because I don't know who would help the Suns.
I think the Utah Jazz would love DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah,
I think DeAndre Ayton would be a phenomenal fit in this system. I think DeAndre Ayton is a guy that needs a change of scenery. The one thing that scares me about DeAndre is that he is soft. He is incredibly soft. And the development piece for him is, one, he's not a gifted catcher of the basketball. He does not catch the basketball well or easily. He has improved, but he does shoot the ball exceptionally well. He does run the floor exceptionally well, and he finishes at the rim really well.
Yeah.
So you like a lot of things that DeAndre does. He's never going to be the best defensive center in the NBA.
Right.
He's never going to be that guy. But he can defend the perimeter a little bit. He can move his feet a little bit. I like DeAndre Ayton a lot. The question is, you know, here in 3 days when DeAndre Ayton becomes eligible for trade, is that a trade the Utah Jazz would make? I don't know, because I do think the Chicago Bulls and from what I was told yesterday by a guy that's not wrong very often on our NBA sourcing stuff, that the Phoenix Suns would really like the opportunity to move DeAndre Ayton and would consider taking Nikola Vucevic back in trade from the Chicago Bulls. And I think the Bulls would covet DeAndre Ayton. There is no doubt about that. And, you know, the question is, you know, and now I want to go back and look at that because I want to make sure I get it right. But when you start looking at, you know, you start looking at the deals that we're hearing about with the Phoenix Suns, and you start really looking at what DeAndre Ayton's value is, I think DeAndre Ayton has value around the NBA. I really do. And you look at that, you know, the Suns, Timberwolves, and Bulls would make a deal that would see Jay Crowder, Landry Shamet, and Kobe White wind up in Minneapolis.
Hey, guys.
The Bulls would end up with D'Angelo Russell, Jade McDaniels, and Bismack Biyombo. And then you have the Phoenix Suns ending up with Nikola Vucevic and Alex Caruso or some form of that. Is that a better deal for the Suns than the deal that we talked about, where they would end up with Beasley and Vando and Bogdan Bogdanovic from Atlanta, and the Suns would end up with John Collins and a contract filler?
The Jazz
would end up with John Collins and a contract filler and a first-round pick.
Yeah, no, I think that deal, the John Collins deal with Atlanta, the 3-teamer, would have worked out way better for the Suns than this deal. I am not a Vucevic guy out of Chicago. All jokes aside,
it's a terrible defender.
All jokes aside, with Jeremy Bolton, I like Alex Caruso. I'd have him on my team. He's an intangibles guy. He's a leadership guy.
But
like he does things.
Alex Caruso's highest best use is on a really good roster, because he does all the things really well to help superstars like Book and CP3. He helps those guys dramatically improve. But the question is, how much fall off is there from Vucevic to Ayton? Now, here's the crazy thing. I don't think there's that much fall off. And especially for the Phoenix Suns. And here's why I say that. Because DeAndre Ayton does not fit the culture of that locker room. DeAndre Ayton does not, in my opinion, want to play defense. Well, I'm getting the same thing in Vucevic, but I'm getting a high character culture guy. I'm getting a guy that is an elite pick and pop 3-point shooter. And I think in this league where the Suns are right now, I think there's a ton of value in that. It's just a matter of what are the Suns going to have to give up, because, you know, you have all these contracts floating around. The question is, if you're Minnesota, how are you not trying to get Cam Johnson in that deal? As injured as Cam Johnson has been, if you're giving up D'Lo, how are you not trying to get Cam Johnson in that deal? That's it. So yeah. I look at a lot of these trades and I look at a lot of these conversations. And again, as I've said for 2 weeks, my biggest concern is that Danny's asking too much. That's my biggest concern. And when I look at the DeAndre Ayton trade, because if you go back and look at the Donovan Mitchell day, the day that Donovan Mitchell was traded, Our sources were telling us, and later it was confirmed by just about every NBA insider, that the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns were inches from making a DeAndre Ayton trade.
Yeah.
I mean, right there. And they didn't do it. And I think it's because the Suns did not want to give up multiple first-round picks.
Yeah.
And frankly, again, the Suns own all of their draft capital. They're in really good position. That's why, again, I say they're going to make a deal. It's not will the Suns make a deal. James Jones is one of the best young GMs in this league.
Yeah.
James is going to make a deal. They've got to get the sale of this team figured out.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a huge part of this here.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be able to move on emotionally from the Sarver stuff and all the despicable things that he did and like how the organization felt under his, tutelage. It's just one of those situations where you got to be able to move on from that. And so to me, the Suns are that team that should be better that they're not performing right now. So it's not a question of if, it's when, and I hope the Jazz are part of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's one of those things where you have to find a way. I guess the right way to say this is, much like the Phoenix Suns, you have to find a way to make a trade. You have to find a way to hit the join button and become a member of the Monty Show because, frankly put, it's just the best way to live your life these days here in the great state of Utah. Now,
it's really good work, dude. I mean,
you kidding me right now?
Can you do something?
Here on the Monty Show, that on a daily basis we tell you, hey, we are the truth in Salt Lake City sports talk, and we absolutely are. What you get when you hit the join button, and I put the link in the comments section here on YouTube, go ahead and click that link. It's $9.99 a month. You get an exclusive video every single day right here on the Monty Show. You get exclusive insider information before anybody else right here on the Monty Show. On Instagram, you get access into our members-only group. You get me rapping Snoop Dogg, but you also get daily videos uploaded when the Jazz are playing, when NBA news happens in the NFL and college football. We're all in there. It is a great community of Monty Show supporters that, frankly, pick each other up. We were talking about, guys, hey, I'm hiring over here. Or, hey, I know about a job over here, like people that were looking for a job. Mm-hmm. Inspiration about, hey, what's your side hustle? What are you guys doing? How is that working for you? It's just a really strong community of supporters. So if you would consider joining the Monty Show, click the link in the comments or the join button on your phone right now. And it's $9.99 a month. And, hey, you also get access to all of our merch first. This March 10th, I cannot wait. We are this close to announcing our next special guest at our March 10th birthday bash because I'm going to be 50 years old.
Yes.
You already know that BYU linebacker Max Tooley is going to join us here at Maverick Center. By the way, we broadcast every day at Maverick Center. You already know that Max Tooley is going to join us for the birthday bash on March 10th. You're going to have exclusive access to meet him. Our good friend Chris Carr, who was the first member of the Monty Show, is the first one invited to the Maverick Center. So he'll get to hang out with Max Tooley and a Ute football player. We are this close, just trying to reconcile his schedule. We'll announce that as soon as we get that on the books. But it's going to be amazing. We're going to have an amazing cake there. We're going to have all kinds of great food. Oh, by the way, it is Utah Grizzlies hockey. So you're going to get hockey. You're going to bring your friends. It's going to be amazing. And our membership is going to have access to that first. So please go ahead and click the join button.
And I think the thing with the membership too, like if let's say that all that stuff he just talked about wasn't enough value, even though it's great value in my opinion. I think the biggest thing is getting more of a personalized experience. Like if you're someone who really loves the show, but would love to ask us questions. Like I haven't, 3 days ago, someone asked, hey, how do you cut drops? I haven't forgot about that. We're going to do that video. Just haven't gotten to it yet because we've been busy. But it's that's a perfect example. There you can ask us literally anything, whether it's trades or whether it's superheroes or food or, hey, who's got job openings? It's just a much more personalized thing. And I know it's $9.99 a month. I know it's another subscription. It's another Netflix. But I think the current members we have would tell you the chat on its own has brought a ton of value to them.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
The Instagram members only chat is totally worth it.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. So consider hitting the join button right here on the Monty Show, the biggest stories in sports this fine here morning, presented by our good friends at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Again, make sure when you go to Barbecue Pit Stop, you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. We really appreciate you supporting our sponsors, and the guys at Barbecue Pit Stop are awesome. You can check out any of their 5 Utah locations: Layton, Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and of course our good friends right across the street from the mall in Murray, on State Street. They're all just really good guys to do business with. And it is amazing how many people send us pictures of the food that they're smoking. I love that you guys went into Barbecue Pit Stop. Do you realize that Monty Show listeners sold them out of Asado seasoning, which is awesome. You can get it online, by the way, bbqpitstop.com. Get the Asado seasoning and then send us pictures of what you're smoking. Today is a great day to rock your smoker, by the way. So I'm telling you,
yes,
no more charcoal briquettes. Somebody said to me yesterday, oh, but the flavor infusion of the charcoal briquette.
Talk to me about flavor infusion of charcoal briquettes.
Have you made a steak on cherry pellets?
Dude, come on.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, you only get that with the guys at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Let's get some more of your comments in here. Hey, Alex Cooley joined the show. What's up, Alex Cooley? Let's go.
Let's go. Get it done.
Everybody shout out Alex Cooley. Cooley, appreciate you joining the show, man. Thank you.
Please DM me, SLC Jake on Instagram. I'll get you added to the chat.
Appreciate that. Sean Carden says the question should be, what value can the Jazz get for Jordan Clarkson? A first-round pick, an up-and-coming player. Well, again, I think Jordan Clarkson is worth a first-round pick.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And I think when you look at, the guys like Phoenix, you look at the guys like Phoenix, and you start to understand that they have, their draft picks, they have them all. Rounds 1 and 2 through, just about every year into the future. They own all of their future draft picks. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
So if you're the Phoenix Suns and you recognize that you have a championship caliber roster that needs tweaking, Jordan Clarkson's a great fit on your roster. If Jordan Clarkson's coming off the bench instead of Cameron Payne, how much better are the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. But Danny's not just going to simply do Jordan Clarkson for a first-round pick. I think Danny sees that there's potential there. I do believe that they would take a serious look at a DeAndre Ayton deal. The only issue is DeAndre Ayton, his contract is substantial. You'll remember Indiana signed him to an offer sheet, and the Suns immediately matched it. He's owed 35, 30, 32, 34, and 35 million, $132 million over the next 4 years. Is that a lot of money for a power forward / center? Of his offensive skill set, it's probably not.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, he's a beast. There's no doubt about it. He can do so much for you. And I think, again, it's a preference thing. That's the hard part here. Like, keep that in mind. This is all a preference, bias sort of conversation. Like, hey, I think DeAndre Ayton can work here, but I don't think he can work there. And another guy will tell you just the opposite. So, to me, I don't think that's a lot of money for Ayton. I think that he's somebody that can come into your organization and make a big-time difference. You look at the organizations and the teams that have one big. I'm not talking about a ton of big, just one big who can start or come off the bench that can make that impact for you in 15 to 20 minutes a night. That's important to have. I know it's not a big man's league. I'm certainly not saying that you need to run your offense through a big. But what I am saying is that having one that can set screens, play the pick and roll, stop and pop three. Like in Ayton's case, stop and pop mid-range. He's not really a three guy, but he is a mid-range guy. So having that dynamic really opens up the floor. The comparison on this team I would use is Vando, actually. When I look at how defenses play the Jazz when Vando's on the floor, Vando's not a threat offensively. And that allows, once again, defenses to play 5-on-4 against the Utah Jazz.
Exactly right.
So DeAndre Ayton, that value is not just that he's a big and that he can set the screens, but he spaces the floor really, really well. And for him, I think personally, and this is really important to me when I'm looking at guys, I think DeAndre Ayton understands that his next opportunity has to go really well. In the locker room, on the floor, he's got to check the boxes.
Well, and he's motivated in that way. And, I mean, this is a guy that gives you 17 to 20 points a night. I think his career average is 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
I mean, that has a lot of value here. And what it does is it locks Lauri Markkanen into the three, which I really like. In this team, they're wanting rebounders. DeAndre Ayton allows them to get out and run more. That's what I like about it. Obviously, the money is significant. But if I'm Danny Ainge and I can make a deadline deal to get DeAndre Ayton, and I have to send them Vanderbilt, and I have to send, because if you look at the money that deal would take, I think that that's a lot, man. Like, that is, if you look at the money that's in that deal. I mean, DeAndre on his own is a $30 million player, right? So if you look at Phoenix, and if we're being honest, what are we getting from Phoenix right now? You're probably taking DeAndre Ayton, and there's a pretty good chance that you're going to have to take a Dario Saric, right?
Yeah.
So let's call that $40 million. Well, you're going to have to go then and look at your roster and what is it going to cost you? What is it going to cost you to make that deal? Well, my guess is it's going to cost you Malik Beasley certainly at 15.
Right.
You're going to have to include Malik Beasley and Jordan Clarkson, let's say. Well, right there, you're at $27 million. And then who's the guy we told you that they were looking to trade? Talon Horton-Tucker at $10 million. There's a deal to be made there. It's going to take 2 future first-round picks to get that done. It's going to take Phoenix's first-round pick now and Phoenix's first-round pick next year and DeAndre Ayton to get that deal done, and probably another player. And I would imagine there will be pick swaps in there. But I think if I'm the Phoenix Suns, does that deal make me a better team? If I send out a Dario Saric, a power forward, and I send out DeAndre Ayton, a center, and I'm getting a Beasley, Clarkson, Vando in return.
Yeah, you're better.
Right, you're better.
You're
absolutely a better team. The problem is I don't know that Vando's money makes that deal pop.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I think that deal works if you are Vando, Beasley, and THT. That deal probably works. But you're just going to have to figure, what is your motivation if you are the Suns? How motivated are you to make a trade? Well, NBA sources are telling us they're the busiest team in the trade market right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're incredibly motivated. I think, what's happening in Los Angeles is motivating the front office in Phoenix, right? In a couple of different ways. Number one, when you have LeBron James coming out and making the comments that he made about the fact that, winning is, the highest standard and, we know what should be happening.
And he wants to end his career with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron James said, I want to be a Laker for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, Anthony Davis. Enjoy your next destination because they trade net A.
Yeah. So
that's
to
what
me,
that means.
If you're Phoenix, okay, a couple of things. And we can't skip over all of these. All of these are equally important in my opinion. Number one, just like the point you made, that the Lakers are going to make moves. And that those moves are going to be big in the beginning because it's Anthony Davis, it's big money contracts. So that there are going to be some waves made out of Los Angeles. Number two, Los Angeles is going to get better. They're not going to be sitting here the way they're sitting here right now, which means the Western Conference is yet again going to get deeper.
And again, I've heard repeatedly that this trade deadline is going to define the future of Rob Pelinka with the Lakers.
I hope so.
If they don't have a productive trade deadline, I think Rob Pelinka is going to be out of a job come summertime.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, he just has
agree.
not been able to transform that roster the way that you would like.
And I think if you're Phoenix, the front office in Phoenix, you also understand that you can't allow your organization to get into the same spot the Lakers are, and you can't erode that relationship with Devin Booker because he is on a longer-term deal right now. And again, as those deals start to tick and the time goes by and you start to watch, hey, a year from now I'm going to be a free agent, we know what happens in that window. We know conversations start happening between Book and other star players, and the chances of him coming back are not nearly as good. So that's what I'm saying. You got to be aggressive here.
Yep. Ken Williams says, I ordered some stuff from Barbecue Pit Stop. Nice.
What'd you get, man?
What'd you get?
Did you get some tongs?
Did you get some tongs? Because every guy needs a tong for his wings and stuff. And every guy needs a tong to spin his Papa Murphy's Pizza on Football at 50, 10 of the hour, every hour. See, I use tongs as a transition.
Tongs and stuff.
Football at 50, presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza. NYXL with those meatballs on top of it. Get the meatball marinara, chop it up, put it on top of an NYXL. Life is good, but make sure you use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. I love it, dude. I know I've waxed poetic as a fat ass about food on this show.
I thought you just said you waxed poetic as a fat ass.
No, I said as a guy who's big boned. Okay, I never said fat ass.
Got it. Sorry,
I would never speak in that.
Yeah, it's a little insensitive, you know.
That insensitive, obese type language.
Yeah, you can't do that.
My point is, as a large human being, I know food.
Right.
And trust me when I tell you the meatball marinara is spectacular. It is. I can't say it enough. It's on a limited time deal, and I'm telling you.
Go and get it.
You need to hook it up.
It's worth it.
Stick around. We're going to talk about Dana White and his punishment coming up here in 9 minutes. Wait until you hear what Dana White said about him being punished by ESPN and the UFC. This will shock you. We'll talk about that coming up here in 9 minutes. We'll get back to the Jazz at 7:30 as well. We kind of talked about this yesterday, but before we get to the NFL, did you guys see that Lincoln Riley is keeping Alex Grinch as his defensive coordinator?
Right.
The reason I'm bringing this back around is there was a massive USC brawl on our channel yesterday in the comments section.
Speaking of Dana White, there was a fight in the comments.
Yeah, and I slapped you too.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't. Well, anyway, see what happened was the USC defense sucked this year. Let's be honest. Ask Tulane. But do you really think that Lincoln Riley's just going to chill where he is? And do you really think one of the guys in the comments yesterday on the channel was like, oh, USC's irrelevant? First of all, I understand that you guys drink and you mix up every morning. From what I would, in my mind, what I'm imagining is you have a large bucket of one of those orange,
a vat.
You know, a vat of those Gatorade buckets, and you just pour the Haterade mix right in there.
Yeah.
And then you get the tongs from Barbecue Pit Stop and you just mix that thing up.
Right.
And you drink the Haterade all day.
Well, and you douse yourself in it. You just you pour yourself, all over.
You can't tell me that you think, A, that USC's really irrelevant. B, you cannot tell me you honestly believe that Lincoln Riley's going to have as bad a defense this coming season as he had this past season.
No, hell no.
He's going to get better. There's no doubt about that. Never mind, he is the best transfer portal head coach in the country at this point, right? He had a pretty darn good recruiting class, number 2. And number 3, they're going to get better every single day in the offseason. That's who Lincoln Riley's been his entire career. You look at the guys coming into USC and you look at the way he recruited, their defense is going to be better. So I'm curious, when you look, if I said to you today, it's January 12th, totally get it. Who's winning the Pac-12 next year?
Well, you have to say USC.
I think USC and Utah have to be the favorite.
I mean, I think with all due respect to Utah, I think the problem they face, or not the problem, but the uphill battle you face is recruiting. I think that everyone was so excited that Cam was coming back and, oh my God, we're going at it again. But what we can't forget is Cam is going to miss games early in the season. It's going to happen because of the recovery time. And I don't want him rushing back on a bad knee. That doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't.
To me, I look at this Utes roster as far as Pac-12 championship aspirations are concerned, and I do think you need someone that can band-aid that offense for the first couple of weeks.
I'm telling you now, if you're in the business of discounting Kyle Whittingham, I'm telling you now, you're making a mistake. I think they're going to contend. Obviously, Oregon's going to be good. I think USC is going to be the class of the Pac-12 next year.
Oregon and Washington. I'm tired of hearing about Oregon and Washington. They're good teams. They're top of the table Pac-12 teams. but they don't deserve to be in the championship conversation until you show me that you can beat Utah and USC on a I'm not going to say a regular basis, but on enough of a basis that I can say, okay, we're up in Oregon country, and we think you're going to win that game against SC. I don't trust either of those two programs to win that game.
Programs, it is what it is. It is what it is. I think USC is going to be better. I truly do. I do. Sean Mierzinski, what's up? I said yesterday, I'll say it again. The defense was bad. He took over. I'm willing to give him another year. They went into the portal and got some very good players yesterday. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
And that's who Lincoln is. So I just wanted to bring that back around.
And again, before we leave this, it was year one. This was year one of Lincoln.
Year one, and the guy was... do you understand that year one, and they're poised to be in the college football playoff?
Oh, they will be in the college football playoff, bro.
Well, they were right there until Utah kicked them right in the bag.
Yeah.
Right? But they were right there.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Please. Yes, Boyd Lake. Good morning, Boyd. How are you? USC is going to be good, no doubt. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They're going to be good. They're going to be good. By the way, did you guys see Utah Tech yesterday? Utah Tech made this new conference, in order to really elevate themselves, get them up into bowl contention, like major bowl contention. The sleeping giant in the state of Utah is Utah Tech, but guess who else is in that new conference? Jackson State. Wonder how that happened, Dion.
Yeah. Just saying.
I'm the only one that believes Utah Tech is a sleeping giant, and I'll continue to call them that. Yeah, and you're the only one that's dumb, fat ass. I get it. Look, I totally get it. You don't have to believe. I'm better looking than you. I'm smarter than you, and Utah, Texas. What happened to the music, man? Is that the Monty ghost again? Cam Harrison, good morning to you. What's up? The mayor of Monty Town has arrived.
Cam Harrison, bro, you got to jump in the membership, bro. You have to. By the way, Jeremy Severe just DM'd me on Instagram and said he joined last night. So congratulations.
Jeremy Severe joined last night.
Yeah.
You flipping stud, Severe.
Yes.
I love that guy. Appreciate you guys being here. New York Jets offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. Somehow, and I know this is crazy, again, maybe we can ask the ghost of Monty Show. Somehow, at the exact same moment, the New York Jets and their offensive coordinator decided, you know what, I don't want to be here no more. Well, that's funny because we don't want you here no more, man.
Oh.
Mike LaFleur and the New York Jets mutually agreed to part company. Oh, you mean Zach's mom hates Mike LaFleur?
Yes.
I'm going to say that Zachy Poo being a bust is why Mike LaFleur is going to go looking for a new job.
Yeah.
How much do you think that Zach Wilson being a bust got Mike LaFleur fired?
I think that it's a combination. I think that Mike, obviously, they didn't like what he was calling, but Zach sucking didn't help. And I think that the issue is, and again, this is what we always come back to, Mike White looked real nice. So Mike and Mike looked real nice, right? Mike and Zach.
The show Mike and Mike?
Didn't really do well. That was a great show. It just is what it is, dude. Anytime you got a bust at quarterback, it just kills the organization.
I agree. I totally agree. Listen, and I'm just telling you now, quarterbacks get you fired. And so I just ask myself, if you're the Dallas Cowboys this morning, how much faith should you have that Dak can go down to Tampa and win you a game?
None.
You don't think there's any chance?
Oh, I think they have a chance to win the game. You're asking me if I have faith. No, I don't have any faith.
Okay. And I'll also point this out, by the way, that if you are not trying the meatball marinara or an XLNY pizza at Papa Murphy's, you're a dope.
Right now with Papa Murphy's, we've got a great deal.
Which means I make more great pizza.
Like our $9.99 XLNY pizza. It's everything you'd expect from a classic New York-style pizza, hot and fresh out of your oven. Order now at papamurphys.com.
And when you order at papamurphys.com, by the way, download the Papa Murphy's mobile app. It's so easy to use. We're all on our phones like all the time. Isn't it amazing?
It is.
Who you DMing, man?
I'm adding people to the group.
Why are you talking to a host at 7 o'clock in the morning on the Monty Show? Make sure you use the promo code Monty25. Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. And if you do not get the meatball marinara, I'm telling you, the next person who sends me a picture of them eating the meatball marinara, I will give you free Papa Murphy's Pizza.
Okay.
I'll do it. I want to espouse the greatness of the meatball marinara.
It's amazing, dude. Like, I'm telling you, it's amazing.
It's so good.
It's so easy to make, and it goes great. Like, if you have kids, bomb. Perfect choice. Perfect choice.
It is incredible.
All you got to do is pop it in the oven at 425 for 30 minutes, and you're good to go.
The cheese melts inside the meatball.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just talking about it. It just moved. It just moved. I'm telling you, it melts inside the meatball. 7 o'clock on the Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. I got so much sleep last night.
Wasn't it amazing? So we go to the Jazz game, No.
What happened? What really happened? Austin Napierski kept us out. We went to the club. We poured some Courvoisier. We had to go and we had to drive all the way down to St. Jeezy to get the, late night Jack in the Box tacos. Like,
man, dude,
Austin
I would
Napierski.
Smash Jack.
You should have seen the line of them chicks at the club for Austin Napierski. Man, they were lined up.
Mm-hmm.
His boy was having to fight off the chicks for Austin.
His girlfriend almost came out and punched some people in the face.
I mean, that never happened.
It didn't. It's true. Totally lie. It's totally
fabricated. The point is, I went to bed. I laid down in bed last night. Are you guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls game ended. They lost. Duh. Laid down in bed last night at 7:45. Fell asleep around 8:30, and it was awesome.
So wait. I'm just trying to get this time right in my head. You laid down at 7:45, but then you fell asleep at 8:30.
Yeah, because I was prepping. I was reading articles. I was watching.
Oh, that's what we're calling it.
I was watching Dana. Well, I mean, I didn't have a shirt on, and no socks either, by the way. We're prepping for the show.
Right.
It's a show prep.
Yeah, it's the show prep.
Please.
Yeah, so my wife is downstairs on a failed Zoom call with her brother and sister. They do these Zoom calls occasionally.
Quarterly meetups.
And so I'm upstairs laying in bed without a shirt on, and I'm listening to Dana White and reading articles about mortgage rates and all this stuff.
Right.
And dude, I fell asleep and I woke up. It was 8:37. And I was like, dude, it's over. Put the phone on the charger, I have the charger on my nightstand, unlike some of these idiots that I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And went to sleep. Woke up at 11. Me and Nighttime P Guy had some business to handle, and then it was amazing. I just went back to sleep. Woke up at 3:35.
Yeah.
Ready to run through a freaking wall. I mean, just
it's amazing
run
what
through
6 hours will do for you.
I feel like, and my watch says I slept for 7 hours, and I think it was 7 hours and 10 minutes or whatever.
Bomb.
Dude, I am ready. I'm kicking somebody's ass today.
Do you even lift?
Louis Capazzo says, love them Jack tacos. Sure, I'm glad we have a Jack here. We're getting one. I think Syracuse is the first one we're getting. Boyd Lake says, no TDs in 3 games got LaFleur fired. Bottom-dwelling O-line play, running game, and QB play got OCs fired. You ain't wrong.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong. Let's see. Cam Harrison says, it's in the works that I'm joining. Just been super busy with work. Listen. We understand. I want you guys to understand. Those who have joined are morally superior. Those who have not, we understand who you are as a person.
Sorry if you're offended by that.
You're a terrible person. We get it. It's not personal.
Well, it is kind of personal.
Okay, that was probably a misspeak. But how about the fact that we just said if you don't have a Monty Show membership, your moral compass is bankrupt. Listen to me. If you don't have a moral compass, you're...
Morals with Uncle Monty on the New Skin Radio Network.
By the way, if you don't have a Monty Show membership, your moral compass points directly to hell.
Hell!
I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm totally kidding. All right. The Monty Show presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Simply put, the best injury attorneys in the business. If you get in a car accident, a motorcycle accident, if you have workman's comp issues, if you have Social Security issues, when you need somebody to fight for you, you go to theadvocates.com. And I can only say I've known Matt Driggs and the guys at The Advocates for over 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just so passionate about their clients. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. You talk to an attorney at the Advocates. And by the way, you're not going to pay a consultation fee. You're not going to pay a retainer. It costs you absolutely nothing to reach out to the Advocates. You do not pay them a penny until they win your case. That's how confident they are that they can represent you and get you what you deserve.
Yes.
Right? But you talk to them and you just realize how passionate they are about their clients, because they know if you come to the Advocates after you've been in a car accident, it's likely one of the worst days of your life. Let's be honest about it. Think about, and if you've never gotten in an accident, think about it this way. Put in your head, what would it feel like if your car is totaled and God forbid you have an injury, you can't work, you're on an island. Because your insurance company's not in a hurry to call you back. Your insurance company's not going to fight to make sure that you get all of the money that is deserved. They're not going to help you defer medical bills. They're going to ask you to continue to make your insurance premiums. Whereas at the Advocates, they're going to fight for you to make sure that your insurance company or the person's insurance who hits you pays you what you deserve. Absolutely, you should go to the Advocates. And again, if you're asking yourself, do I need an attorney? Yeah, you do. The answer is yes. If you have to contemplate if you need an attorney, the answer is yes. Exactly right. TheAdvocates.com. Ken Williams, LOL, shaming people, Monty has sold himself. Well, you know.
Hey, you start talking shit.
Just look at your moral compass if you're not a member. Anyway, I want to go back to this right here. Are Jack tacos really good?
Oh, yeah.
Are they, though?
It's a must-have for me. Yeah. Big fan.
They taste good.
And by the way, the small taco box, bomb.
Oh, the box of mini tacos.
Bomb, dude.
God.
Bomb.
Dude, I'm telling you. Ken Williams says the best pizza they have is the Chicago one. It's so yummy. Yes, it is. There's nothing bad about Papa Murphy's. Definitely getting Papa Murphy's this weekend. The Papa Murphy's app is super user-friendly.
That's what I'm saying,
so
Cam.
easy.
Like, I mean, it's so easy. You just jump on that thing. You order in the morning, set your time, and you know, okay, 4 o'clock's rolling around and Monday Night Football starts at 6. Or the playoff game, wild card weekend starts at noon or whatever the hell time it starts this weekend. I'm good to go. I'm gonna turn that smoker on before I leave. Gonna run over to the store, come back, pop it on. We're good to go, man.
We're good to
it's
go,
that
bro.
Easy, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Papa Murphy's, download the app, use the promo code Monty25. Okay, let's get to this Dana White conversation because I think this
Time
is
to throw down.
Throwing down. I think this is an incredibly compelling conversation, and I'm curious what you guys think. You know the story. Dana White was involved in a domestic violence incident with his wife in Mexico over the holidays. He is seen on video in Mexico slapping his wife. Yes, she hit him first. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Dana White has said that. It doesn't matter what my wife does. I had no business raising my hand to my wife.
Yeah.
He has said it doesn't matter.
Facts.
And I totally agree with that. But Dana White said something yesterday that was really, really, and the word that keeps coming to mind is it's really compelling because is Dana White correct about this kind of punishment?
We've had plenty of discussions internally with Ari, ESPN. Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy about this, you know. Neither am I. But it happened. And I have to deal with it. And what is my punishment? Here's my punishment. I got to walk around for however long I live. Is it 10.4 years or is it another 25 years? And I gotta, this is how I'm labeled now. My other punishment is that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, whether it be media, fighters, friends, acquaintances who had respect for me might not have respect for me now. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life that are way more of a punishment than what? I take a 30-day, 60-day absence? That's not a punishment to me. The punishment is that I did it, and now I have to deal with it.
Now, number one, the thing that really bothers me there is what did he not say? What did he not say? He not one time mentioned his wife or that, hey, the punishment is that I have to deal with, you know, I wake up every day and I look at my wife and I realize what I've done to her. He never said that. That really stuck out to me. But, and I know you're passionate about this, Jake, but I actually think he's right on.
Yeah.
If the UFC fires Dana White, Is that punishing Dana White or is that punishing the UFC and its fighters?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, so if we break this down from a business sense, it's punishing the whole organization, which would include the fighters, which would include just everybody involved, because Dana White does, in fact, do a phenomenal job at what he does, right? Like, it's not uncouth or bad to say the guy's really good at what he does. But
no doubt.
I think the trouble is that the UFC is not yet big enough the way like the NFL, let's say, is big enough to where if you smack your wife on tape, you have to have an automatic suspension. You have to have these certain things that just have to play out, and then we can talk about you doing this again. But again, on the other side, in the NFL, when an executive does something, we don't really hear about it. They just disappear for 3 months and then they come back, right? So it's a little different that way. But the point is that the UFC is this smaller. I'm not saying the UFC is small, but when you compare the UFC to the core four, it's small. So the UFC is in a position where, hey, Dana White's been the face of our organization for forever. He is the name that you associate with the UFC. And he does run everything. And yeah, he is damn good at it.
Yes, he is.
I do agree with Dana in this sense that, hey, putting me on a leave of absence, it doesn't hurt me because I have more money than I need, right? And it just doesn't hurt me. Like, he's right. It hurts the UFC. I do agree also with what he said that I have to live with this the rest of my life. But what I disagree with is that somehow is the punishment. Right? Living with your actions is just the fact of life. Hey, you were speeding, you got a ticket. Well, I got to live with that now. Like, that's just life, dude. That's not like, hey, you were punished so severely and now you've learned your lesson. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
There's like a middle ground.
But I think that here's what I give Dana White credit for. He owned this completely. He's never once tried to spin this. He's never once said, hey, no, he said I was wrong. I should never have hit my wife. He has said that I have admitted complete and total guilt, taking total responsibility for my actions. He has absolutely done that. He's talked about how, that him and his wife have had really good introspective conversations out of this. I totally get that. But we'll never get away from that videotape. That's the problem. And I think in a league where you've had criminality, where you've had drug abuse, where you've had your greatest fighter ever, arguably, and John Jones, like running from the cops.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, throwing this barricade through a window, punching somebody in a bar. Like, you just can't have this. And at what point does the UFC take a step away from violence outside of the octagon? I don't know what that is because they're not doing that here, right? And again, it just strikes me that Dana never said, well, I got to look at I can't imagine how I would feel if I were Dana White. And to your point and to Dana's point, the public humiliation is a significant punishment. But Ray Rice never worked again. You look at some of the other domestic violence people, they've never worked again.
But what was the difference? And I think this is crucial to the conversation. What was the difference between, let's use Ray Rice, right? The difference was he's a player. He's an employee, if you will. He's not upper management running things. And I think that's a really important distinction. When you're upper management, there's a higher level of accountability that should be taking place that clearly is not taking place here. The reason it's not taking place brings me right back to, hey, the UFC is smaller. The UFC knows who it plays to. The UFC isn't playing to the housewife in New Jersey.
That's right.
The UFC is playing to men who empathize with Dana.
They're playing to men that are essentially 18 to 49 years old, would be my guess.
Yeah.
And they are playing to men who really like the high testosterone, knock him the F out. That's who they're playing to.
You know what Dana's doing here? Which I think it's low key, but it's if you're him, I don't know what else you would be doing. I think it's kind of smart if you're in Dana's shoes, but like he's playing the, hey, yeah, I did wrong by my wife and I'm the husband and I got to fix this type deal. Like, he's low key playing that card. And I think that resonates with a lot of dudes out there. And I think that Dana is a master and commander at fixing PR issues, and he's doing that here.
Yep. Ken Williams says, "Never hit a woman, no matter what. Walk away, dude. Always." And he has said that absolutely. Self-defined punishments are never enough,
and that's the trouble. See,
that's
what
trouble.
I agree with, Boyd.
I agree.
Like, what is? I think it's financial. You have to hurt him financially for it to be proper.
He is not just the president of the UFC. He is a significant shareholder in the UFC. Like, he is...
It's his whole world.
I mean, he runs the MMA world. I mean, he is much more than just an employee. And I think you have to keep that in mind. Boyd says, "Didn't say I'm sorry." No, he didn't. Salty Drunk, good morning to you. Salty's a member of the show. "How do you know he hasn't had that conversation with his wife?" Oh, I'm sure he has, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter what he's done behind the scenes. Right now, he's in a PR fight for his life.
Yeah.
And if Dana White had stood up on that dais yesterday during this press conference and said, "Yeah, I looked my wife in the face and it was really painful for me. And we cried together, and when he slapped his wife hard, dude, if this was just, hey, you slapped me, I'm going to put my arm out to stop. He full on slapped her.
Yeah, he dropped her.
And I want to hear Dana White say, I looked at my wife and, I talked to my wife and it was really painful and I can't believe I did that. And the worst punishment I have is now for the rest of my life, I have to live with the fact that I hurt my wife. And we talked about that and I have to look her in the face every day knowing what I've done. I almost would be like, okay, yeah, that's the punishment you get. By the way, you're fined $1 million and suspended for 30 days. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. And you can't tell me the UFC world stops spinning for 30 days. Salty also says people make mistakes and own them. True. And he says, "I have a case of 4X Gold and 6 Papa Murphy's pizzas."
Well.
But my man, here's the problem. You owe me a case of 4X Gold that you've never paid off.
Yeah, dude, you're kind of on the duck season vibe right now with the 4X Gold,
You're on the duck season vibe.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't come through with the, with the beer. You haven't got that international drop shipping package sent out. That's what I'm talking about.
The international drop shipping. Come on now.
What?
Come on now.
What?
Where did you pull drop shipping?
I don't know. Where do you pull Snoop Dogg at 5:30 in the morning?
Well,
I don't know.
That's because I'm talented.
It just happens.
Dallin says, "Speeding, I feel like is just a few. You get a ticket every once in a while and then you pay it. Are you going to speed later? Probably." Yeah. Dallin says, "Can Dana White be fired? Doesn't he own the UFC?" It was sold, but he is a significant stakeholder in the UFC.
But again, there's no incentive for them to fire him. The conversation isn't firing him, with all due respect. And that's what you have to understand about this. This is different than, baseball or basketball or football. This is not a core 4, with all due respect to the UFC. The UFC is a niche sport that is huge in its niche and dominates that particular category. But the problem is it's incestuous. Right? You have one guy who's the face of the whole thing that runs everything, that makes everything go. It would be like taking the gas out of a car. They would have to figure out how we would move forward without Dana White. That's a big thing.
Yeah, Severe says leadership spurs culture. What the Dana White situation reveals that there is culture issues about being a good citizen at the UFC. Well, and the other thing this does is what's going to happen the next time a UFC fighter hits his wife?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to cut him? Well, how can you cut him? You didn't cut Dana White. You're telling fighters in the UFC you're not going to get fired if you hit your wife, if you're involved in domestic violence. That's what you're saying. Josh Lovren says hurting him financially would hurt the UFC, wouldn't it?
Different,
to be determined.
but in a different sense. If you think about it operationally speaking, putting him on a 30-day leave. Maybe it's a thing where publicly you put him on a 30-day leave, but behind the scenes he's still running things. Maybe I don't know, but my point is that Dana is not wrong about what he said yesterday, but also Dana can't be allowed to sit up there and say that and have no punishment.
Correct. And while you guys are hitting the like button right now, give us a thumbs up. That would be amazing. I think it is really interesting to me that this is who we are as a sports fan now. There's a lot of people who don't believe that Dana White did anything wrong because his wife hit him first. And I'm just telling you that's not correct. It's not. And this idea that somehow this is a matter of equality, that's not what this is. That's not what this is. You have to, Dana White's got to understand who he is and where he is.
Yeah.
His wife is responsible for her behavior, drunk or sober. She should have some accountability. And I am certain inside of their marriage she does. But here's the issue. She's not the president of the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a public figure who's being held to a higher standard. Well, neither is Dana White because he's a public figure not being held to a higher standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. And again, I go to Bob Iger and Disney. How does this play for Disney?
Facts.
One of your incredibly important partners at ESPN. Remember, ESPN TV, ESPN.com, ESPN the app, and ESPN Plus all carry massive amounts of UFC programming.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge deal. This is a huge, huge deal. It's huge. Alex Cooley, sure, walk away, but to say there's never a reason, come on, there's never a reason to put your hands on a woman.
There's not.
And listen, if she's got a gun pointed at your head, okay, do what you got to do. She slapped him in a bar in Mexico.
You're really telling me he needed to slap her back?
And you're telling me he needed to haul off and slap her to the point where she fell to the ground.
Come on.
That's
better.
not who we are as men.
Be better now.
I'm telling you, that's not who we are as men. And I don't know what it would take for me to hit my wife. I can't imagine a scenario. I don't want to imagine a scenario. I can tell you unequivocally, and we have had some arguments, just the same as every couple has arguments. I've never, ever contemplated violence of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Of any kind. I just don't believe in it. I just don't believe in that. So for me, it's not what I do. Troy Cushing says, you tell him, Jake, drop ship that Forex gold, save the rap for Snoop.
Pack your shit. Let's go.
Love you, Mont. Well, I'm a better rapper than Snoop Dogg. If you're in the member chat on Instagram, you know that. Dallin Sproul says 30 days of no coming into the office. Stay home, Dana. Don't pay him for 30 days. I don't know. Fine him 30 days of salary if that's the way you feel about it. Fat Jesus says, you're telling me he doesn't have executives close to his role that could give interim control to? How much damage could that person do in 30 days? That's my point. And what I'm saying is find the guy 30 days of pay. If you're so worried about the void he would leave, find him 30 days of pay.
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, that's my point. So again, Dana White is right with what he said there, but also Dana White can't be allowed to sit up there and define what his punishment is. It's not up to Dana White. It's up to the owners. It's up to the people who are in, controlling position of the business. That's just the reality of the situation. And the real problem is, if we really want to get to the balls of this conversation, the people who are in control of the UFC are unknown to the world, right?
Correct.
Like if I said to Jimmy down the street, hey, do you know who owns the UFC? Like, do you know who has the controlling interest? Well, Dana White. No, not Dana White. Although he does have a big share. I'm pretty confident we can go and research it, but I'm pretty sure that there is a controlling interest that owns 51%. And whoever that person is needs to do something about this. And the problem is, and my fear is nothing will be done because, again, what do we see play out here? Okay, the event happens, the TMZ tape comes out at World's Outrage. Great. Then a week, 10 days goes by. Nothing happens. Then, I can't remember who it was, but he got a letter sent to him or to the UFC saying, hey, you're not doing anything about Dana White. Let's get it going here. Let's move it along.
Well.
And now Dana's up on a dais talking about his punishment and how leaving doesn't really punish him. Well, unfortunately, that's not up to you, Dana. I don't disagree with you, Dana, but it's not up to you. That's the issue.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly interesting, the parallel of this WWE sale as compared to this situation with the UFC. Did you guys see that the WWE basically has been sold to the Saudis? And it's simply just putting the ink on the paper now. And what's really interesting is, look at Vince McMahon came back. And he is, I mean, if we're ranking detestable human beings, he's far, far, far further up the list compared to Dana White. But nobody's talking about that with the WWE. Yet here we are talking about Dana White. And I agree that Dana White should be held to a higher standard because he runs a professional sports league. If Roger Goodell slapped his wife
on tape,
if Adam Silver slapped his wife, if Gary Bettman slapped his wife.
But think about it. What's the difference there, though? And I think this is crucial. It's the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the biggest sporting organization on the planet, right? It's Roger Goodell, the commissioner. He's never... Dude, if a tape surfaced of Roger Goodell participating in domestic violence in his marriage, dude, I don't even know. Like, it may take a month to get Buddy fired, but he would be fired. There's no doubt about it. And so to me, that's why I say this isn't a complex issue. And I'm not really here for, Alex, I love you, bro. And all these people talking about how, like, hey, she hit him first and this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not here for that, dude. The reality is he hit his wife. You're not getting away from it. And he wants to live in a world where he gets to self-define his punishment. And I'm telling you, that's inappropriate. And while he's not wrong, he should be punished. And the punishment should be a 30-day salary fine, if not $1 million, in my opinion. And he should be gone for at least 30 days, if not 60 days, in my opinion.
Brett Robbins, how do you know she wasn't coming for his eyes on the next attack? Who cares? Who cares about the next attack? We're not in the business of wondering or guessing or forecasting, Mrs. Dana White's next attack. I care about what I saw in the video in Mexico. I don't understand this obsession with, well, what if she, or look at her. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the president of the UFC who makes millions of dollars to run a sports league, on tape slapping a woman in a bar in Mexico over the holidays. It does not matter what she did. And until you conform to that and understand that, you're always going to want to say, hey, it's like this idea that, so many people in the YouTube comments yesterday were like, women want equal rights. Well, he gave her equal rights. No, he didn't. What he did is he domestically abused his wife. That's what he did. And I don't understand why we can't come around to the fact that, look at Dana White's size.
Do you understand?
Look at his build.
Like, why would you, and this is what's always baffled me. This is what's always baffled me, with all due respect to Brett.
You don't put your hands on a woman.
Why are we interested in having a conversation about equal rights with women when it comes to physicality? It's so, with all due respect, I love the women in my life. With all due respect, if I punch you in the face, you're getting dropped. It's a physical, biological, hey, men are built in a different way than women. So we're really going to sit here and talk about how women want equal rights and she got equal. Like, that's one of the most asinine things I've ever heard. Like, what happened to class in men? What happened to, like, being a polished individual, somebody who, I don't know, doesn't get drunk to the point in Mexico and feels like it's okay to beat on your wife? Like, I just don't understand why that's cool and why you guys want to point that out.
And the idea of she got put in her place it's insulting. That is
like, what do you mean put in her place?
That's barbaric.
Do you understand? Do you have with all due respect, because I don't like tearing people down. I'm not trying to do that, but this gets me going a little bit. Do you have no sense of, hey, I have to be the bigger person here? My wife slapped me, and yeah, that didn't really hurt too much, did it? I'm not really feeling that tomorrow. But you know what? She is.
There comes a higher level of responsibility.
Yeah, dude. Like,
when you are the president of the UFC, it doesn't matter if a guy walked up behind you and punched you in the face. It doesn't matter. the president of the UFC in a bar brawl in Mexico, that's not.
It's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's a bad look.
Yeah. All right. Dustin Mercer, the newest member of the Monty Show clan. What's up? Everybody, welcome Dustin as a member of the show. Dustin, good to see you. You now have access to our exclusive members-only video that we post every day. You now have access to our exclusive Monty member-only chat on Instagram. Make sure you DM Jake, SLC Jake, at Instagram. Follow him. He's got like 3 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, it's kind of pathetic, but
somebody needs to follow Jake on Instagram.
Yeah, I am the gatekeeper of the group, okay?
He is the gatekeeper of the group. Hook it up, SLC Jake. On Instagram, and again, if you haven't joined the group, make sure you do that. I just put that link right there in the chat. It's $9.99 a month. It gets you access to the Instagram chat, obviously exclusive content, but it also gets you things like first access to our exclusive merch. Working on some really cool merch right now. Can't wait to drop that. By the way, did you guys now know that our friends at YouTube offer a merch store?
It's coming, people. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's coming. So we have a lot going on. We have this March 10th birthday bash. I'm going to be 50 on February 19th. March 10th, we're having a birthday bash right here at Maverick Center. Cannot wait. We are so close to announcing the newest guest that's going to join us all at that event.
Yes.
Members will know about it first. Members will get invited first. It's going to be an amazing night. Make sure that you hit the join button. As Dustin Mercer did. Dustin, appreciate you very much. Let's finish up this Dana White conversation real quick. Salty Drunk says, calm down, Jake. It's a conversation, not a dictatorship.
Yeah, well, here's the difference, dude. Here's the difference. I have a pretty strong belief based on the stuff that I see in our world on pretty much a daily basis that men have lost sight of the responsibility we have in the world, meaning it doesn't matter if a female hits you, dude.
Yeah,
it just doesn't matter, man.
And listen, that's my opinion, and I agree to a certain extent. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I am not trying to dictate what morals are. I was joking about moral compasses and whatnot. I was totally kidding. Your moral compass is yours. What you feel like is right is knock yourself out. I don't in my life and in my code, I will never put my hands on a woman. I just won't do it.
Yeah.
Violence in relationships is never going to end well.
How different does this tape look if Dana White's wife hit him and he reacted properly? If he hadn't hit her back, if he had,
just walked away.
What would TMZ probably would have put out an article or something saying, oh, well, Dana White's wife doesn't like him or something, or some dramatic, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been some story on how they have issues in their marriage. Dana wouldn't be sitting up on a dais talking about abusing his wife, and he'd be able to sleep at night. And that's what I'm saying. As men, we have to make better decisions.
Yes.
The conversation isn't about, hey, she hit him first, and he hits her back, and he put her in her, like, that's just such a childish take, in my opinion. With all due respect, like, it's not about that. Now, you're probably going to go to the extreme, and you're going to say, well, if some woman had a baseball bat and hit you, what would you do? It's like, okay, cool, dude. That's obviously a little bit different. Obviously, like, that's different than some female slapping you.
Yeah.
But, like, let's not go to the extremes here. Can we not just have a realistic conversation?
Yeah. All right, there you go. There's your moral compass for the day.
Good talk.
Do we feel better?
Good talk. It really bothers me, dude, that men, I feel like on a daily basis I see, and I'm not really talking about the comment section, I'm really just more talking about like things I see in the news, the classic Florida man article that pops up in the news cycle. Like, you just see stuff and you're like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
What went through your mind?
But I also think we as men have always struggled with embracing the fact that we have to be the alpha. We have to be the leader. We always have to be on the high ground.
I have to set the standard.
It's what we are. It's what we are to, in my opinion, what we are expected to do in society. And I agree that there's a different conversation about equality and different conversation. As men, we are always held to a higher standard. As men, we are called to be leaders. And I think as men, it is our duty to mentor our children. It is our duty. Dana White, the one thing that really hit home with me is Dana White talked about the conversations he and his wife had with their kids. Imagine how difficult it is for Dana White's kids to watch their dad and mom have a physical fight in public.
Mm-hmm.
You know how difficult that is? That is why, in my opinion, we as men have to always take the high ground.
Yeah.
Because it just does not go well. And if we're going to surmise that, she was going to hit him again, well, let's surmise then that he walks away. What happens if he walked away? To me, there is a give and take on that stuff. And these conversations aren't easy. But as men, I think we've always had issues with embracing our position in society. And these conversations usually are very convenient. Like, hey, we want to be leaders. Okay. Well, okay, we don't want to be a leader on domestic violence, but when it comes time to get paid, I want to be the highest paid.
Mm-hmm.
Or when it comes time to, well, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick and choose adversity in your life.
Usually, you don't get to pick and choose when it's easier, when it works out for you, dude.
Yeah.
But what you do get to pick and choose is how you react to everything. And again, as we say, I feel like almost every day lately, it's really not the issue at hand. That's the issue.
Nobody
it's how you
said,
react.
wait. Brett Robbins said you basically said his wife did nothing wrong. I've never said that, not one time. Nobody on this show has ever said that.
You're missing the point, my man.
Nobody has ever said that. Kanai Johnson, we as fathers need to understand that if this was your daughter getting slapped down like a dog, is it okay then because she hit him first? It's not. It's not. Lopes fan Gabe, if Dana White slapped her in public, I'd hate to know what he's done in private. And that's the harder part as well. How many times have they had a domestic violence incident in the past?
Mm-hmm.
What do we not see? What do we not know?
I want to make sure we're on the same page about this concept, though, because, and Brett, you and I clearly disagree here, and that's okay. That's okay. That's what the show's about, disagreeing and having these conversations. But I'm a little surprised we disagree, if I'm being honest. I don't understand why it's so hard to process. We're not talking about his wife. We're just not. We're talking about
that's right.
The reaction to something negative that happened to Dana White. Right? Can we all agree? Can we all agree that that's a fair characterization? Hey, something negative happened to Dana White in Mexico in his family. If you just characterize it as that, we should all agree on that. Next, I want to say, dude needs to react better. Like, I'm sorry, man. It's not just that you're the president of the UFC. It's not just that you're, a dad, a husband, an influential, impactful figure in your people's lives. Like, you have to be better. And we did this whole thing yesterday about having a better relationship with yourself and doing little things, and it all sort of plays together. You can't just you can't skip over that.
No, and I think that part of it's got to be very tough for Dana White.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I'm a big fan of personal accountability. And I just don't know how you look yourself in the mirror after you did that. How do you watch that video man, that'd be crazy to me. That would absolutely be crazy to me. But I appreciate the conversation, guys. I know that these conversations are not easy, and I know that we all are passionate about it, and we have different feelings. But you know what? Understand that your opinions are valued here, and we may disagree with them, and we may passionately disagree with them. But we appreciate that you guys share your opinions. We really do, because I think that's a very difficult thing to do in a lot of spaces and places. So we appreciate that. Hey, coming up in about 11 minutes, Football 50. I do want to get into the best quarterbacks left in the NFL playoffs because I think there's some really good ones. I think we're overreacting to Dak Prescott.
What does that mean?
And that means that I think Dak Prescott's better than we're giving him credit for. And I agree that he's having a tough season. He had a tough season, injury-wise, interception-wise. But I don't think there's any doubt that the Dallas Cowboys have been one of the best teams in the NFL this year. But what does it matter if you go out in the first round of the playoffs? So I want to talk about that coming up as well. Also, don't forget that the Jazz are off tonight. They play Orlando at home tomorrow. I think that's a big deal. I also think this situation, as we talk about the biggest stories in sports here on the Monty Show, I think this situation going on in the NBA. I don't know if you guys have looked at the table in the NBA, but it is shocking to me the way the Western Conference looks right now, that your top 4 are Denver, Memphis, New Orleans, and Sacramento. Sacramento is 4th in the West, 22-18. Yet Phoenix, Golden State, the Jazz, T-Wolves, and Lakers are all in the bottom 7 of the NBA Western Conference. That is shocking to me. And this loss last night by the Phoenix Suns, if you look at that roster that was on the floor last night, they started Saric, Craig, Bridges, Biyombo, and Washington last night. Dwayne Washington started. Their bench was Ish Wainwright, Josh Okogie, Jock Landale, and Damian Lee's a perfectly good bench player, right? And Saban Lee, who played 15 minutes after they signed him out of the G League. That's the level to which the Phoenix Suns have fallen. And if you really get into the Suns situation in these trades we've been talking about, you look at Shamet, Ayton, Chris Paul, Cam Johnson, Cameron Payne, and Devin Booker all unavailable for their last 2 games. That is shocking.
A lot.
That is shocking. So I think Phoenix is absolutely one of those stories. And real quick, I do want to talk about the Lakers. Did you guys hear this story? That LeBron James says he wants to finish his career as an LA Laker. What do you say to that? How do you, because I think it is, I'm a little surprised by that. Because I don't think that means he will finish his career as a Laker. I think that's LeBron James saying, I want to wear only one other uniform the rest of my career, and that's the purple and gold of the LA Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It doesn't guarantee he'll be there the rest of his career, but I think, LeBron's at a point where he doesn't need to travel around the country, and play for all these different teams anymore. Like, LeBron wants to play with Bronny. That's been a long time stated goal. He's always said that, and it's very clear he wants to do that. But I also think the point you always make about him, like LA is a business mecca, and he's a mogul within that, and I think he's doing a lot, and I think that he likes living in LA. Hell, I would like living in LA if I didn't have to worry about the money. You know what I mean? So
yes.
So to me, I think it makes perfect sense, and I think LeBron to me right now, is, I feel like with some of the things he said and what we're hearing from him at this stage in his career, is appreciating what he has a lot more now than he used to, meaning it's not just that he's essentially a billionaire and has all this money, right? It's not really about the money per se, but it's about the fact that money's allowed you to provide for your family. Like, you live in LA, you live in a nice place, like it's LA, like you're really happy, things are going great, Bronny's on track, Bryce is on track, like you just have a good setup. So the playing in LA thing, I don't think is as much about the Lakers per se as it is about, hey, I really like where my life is at, and I can easily see myself playing 4 or 5 more seasons and riding off into the sunset.
That's interesting. I do. I think there's a lot in that. I'm a little surprised by Jeremy Bolton's comment here. Jeremy Bolton, the mayor of Montytown. How about I don't give an F what LeBum does? He can go play for Bishop Sycamore for all I care. Now, I am no LeBron James fan, but this is the Nick Saban conversation yesterday we did a short on this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like LeBron.
Yeah. And I don't.
But you have to respect what he's done. And if LeBron James changes addresses and zip codes, that's a huge story. If LeBron James goes across the hall to the Clippers, they're winning a championship. If LeBron James somehow ends up in Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, they're winning a championship. His best days are probably right here, right now. And I'm surprised, like, why do so many people hate LeBron James? Because
and I see all these comments saying, amen, Bolton, and like, you guys are all about hating LeBron.
Why do you hate him? What's is it that you hate about him? The things that bother me about LeBron, I don't care about the ring chasing thing. Everybody does that. Frankly, it's a players' league. I wish in the NFL players had the ability to do what they do in the NFL or in the NBA. I wish that all sports players have that kind of movement. They don't. You look at what happened to Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
We found out yesterday in his Twins press conference that it was an ankle injury that's never been an issue for him. They found something in a scan on his ankle, and so they essentially voided his $300 million contract. And he winds up taking a massive pay cut to go back to the Twins. He's not in control of that. You look at LeBron. LeBron can dictate where he plays. Why does that piss people off so much? It's because and here in Utah, my guess is it's because I think we all recognize that LeBron's not coming to Utah. That the best players in the league likely don't wind up in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's bitterness over that. But I would love to hear your thoughts on why you dislike LeBron so much. Josh Levern says, how you feel if you are LeBron's second son. Hey, man, Bryce James.
Bryce is going to be better than Bronny.
Bryce James is one of the top prospects in the country right now. And Bronny James isn't bad either, by the way. The kid can play.
And I think what Josh is getting at here is the LeBron and Bronny thing playing together. The fact is Bryce just doesn't have enough time.
Bryce is young.
Bryce is much younger.
What is he? I think he's a sophomore.
Yeah, so you're talking about Bron having to wait, 3, probably 4 seasons, depending on if they remove the college thing and what happens with that.
Yeah, Bryce is 15 years old.
So that's not happening. LeBron's not playing 7, 8 more years. I don't think. I could be wrong. I'm not his agent. I'm not Bron, but 7, 8 more years seems like a long time. Bronny is ready to go. Isn't Bronny 17 now?
Yeah, Bronny's in class right now. I mean, and he's probably, his brother did not accidentally. Did you guys see? So Bronny James is one of the hottest recruits in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
He's probably a top 10 recruit in the country. And he is open for recruitment. I mean, most people believe he's going to go to Ohio State.
Yeah.
Bryce James had an Instagram story with Bronny James in a photo with a Ohio State logo on a TV behind him. That's not an accident.
Yeah.
That's not an accident in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, Bronny's a senior. And he is going to, I'm telling you, he's either going to wind up at Ohio State or North Carolina. So and I, as a North Carolina fan, I would love it to be North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't think Bryce has, I could be wrong, right? I'm just speculating. But if I was Bryce, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, my dad wants to play with Bronny and not me. No, it's not that at all. It's time. It's the timing of it. You don't have enough time to make it work. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, Gesundheit, Pete Thamel has a story. Kevin Warren has remained evasive internally about his Bears CEO candidacy, which is now hanging over the Big Ten awkwardly. Yeah. So this is so strange. So do you guys know Kevin Warren, the commissioner of the Big Ten, is the leading candidate to be the next president of the Arlington Heights.
We built a track on a race track.
We built a field on
a racetrack.
No, you didn't.
In a bunch
you
of
built
dog
a field.
crap.
You built a field on a pile of horse crap.
Come on, dude.
He is inarguably the leading candidate to be the next president of the Bears. Very interesting. Alex Cooley says, "Am I the only one who thinks LeBron is corny as hell?" What do you mean corny? Fat Jesus says, "Don't worry, LeBron. As a Laker, your career is over." Pretty much. I agree with that. Andy H. says, these next 10, 12 games at home will determine if we go to the playoffs or start listening to trade offers.
Yep.
You mean the Jazz? Oh, the Jazz are going to make trades no matter what. Salty Drunk, welcome, Tanner. About time you got here. Oh, did I miss Tanner? Yeah, I did. There he is, Super Soaker. Amen, Mayor Bolton. Jaron Eccles, who's also a member, laughs at Jeremy Bolton. Tanner Plummer says, you're not alone, Alex Cooley. What is corny about LeBron? I don't get that. I don't mind LeBron being woke. I do mind that he talks about being woke, but does directly, such as fund a college scholarship program to help the lives of inner city youths. So you guys don't like that he talks politics and that he's quote unquote woke. That's interesting. Jeremy says everyone thinks that LeBron is the be all on social issues. I just think LeBron doesn't. That I might agree with. I mean, LeBron being at the back of the BLM parades in Los Angeles.
Okay, why
while
is
at the
there
front of the
bitterness,
line
though?
that he I'm not bitter. I just think that when you have a mob of people destroying Los Angeles and you're at the back of that line riding your bike with Anthony Davis, I have a problem with that.
But I think that some of these comments are there's I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like there's some bitterness over LeBron. And I don't really you can't deny he's an all-time great. You can't deny that the guy is influential as hell. Like, I'm never a fan of living in the woke space or the term woke is so played. I hate that term and I just don't really understand why it's gotten traction. But I don't know, dude. I'm in a place where, yeah, I do think Bron has some issues, but there are not enough issues where I won't pay to go to crypto to watch him play basketball.
Yep. Andy H says he's that high because daddy will contribute to the NIL pool. No. Bronny James is that high because he's a stud. You know why Bronny James is that high? Because he is now fully power slamming people.
Yeah.
And he is a knockdown three-point shooter.
Yeah.
And his game clearly translates to the college level. There's no doubt about that. All right, we'll get back to the NBA in 10 minutes, talking Jazz and trades. But right now, as always, 10 to the hour. Every hour, we bring you the biggest stories in football. Football at 50, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you download the Papa Murphy's app. Use the promo code Monty25 and get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Couple of quarterback updates for you this weekend. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
Out Sunday versus Buffalo. He will not play. That's a big one. And then the Dakinator. I said the Dakinator.
Why are you such a Dak Prescott guy? I'm
not. You're just so anti-Dak that it makes it hard for me not to be a Dak guy. But you keep your head in the sand. It's fine. Jera. Hey, Jera. Jerry Jones went on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, not the sports leader, and said that it's not in Dak Prescott's DNA to turn the ball over.
Right.
I said it's not in his DNA.
Right.
To which I would say, well, you might want to check the box score. He threw 15 picks this year. But if we look at the quarterbacks in the NFL playoffs right now, Dak Prescott or Geno Smith?
Dak.
Brock Purdy of the Sam
Dak.
Frog Discos.
Dak.
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
screw you.
Just kidding, Dak.
Dak Prescott. Why you do me like that, man? That's not nice.
Because, you know why? Because the fact is Dak is not a winner. He's not.
Yet. The sex machine.
I would take Herbert over Dak.
Absolutely. Tua tagged your mama.
Dak.
Josh Allen.
No. All day.
Yeah, of course. Daniel Jones.
Dak.
New York Giants. Dak Prescott. Kirk Cousins. Shut the... You would take Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott.
Yep. Yeah, I would.
Did you drink your ayahuasca this morning? Are you hallucinating?
What has Dak done that Kirk...
No, the question is, what has Kirk Cousins done? Besides turn the ball over on prime time.
What has Dak done? He hasn't done anything, dude. This is what I don't understand. Why are we sitting here saying that Dak has done anything?
Because at least Dak has potential.
Kirk doesn't?
No! We know who he is. I'm off the Kirk Cousins bandwagon.
I can say the same thing about Dak Prescott. We know who Dak is, dude.
Not yet we don't. I want to see Dak go to another team.
Okay.
That's
fair. I can get down with that. That's fair.
Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott?
Dak.
Joe Burrow.
All day.
So you're taking Joe Burrow.
All day.
I agree. Tom Brady. Right now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking Dak Prescott over everybody.
I just don't trust Dak. That's my problem. I don't trust him. I don't trust that. That.
I don't trust him either.
That Fuller pick 6 is embarrassing.
You threw the exact same pass to the exact same spot, twice in a row.
That's the perfect thing. That's not, it hit his receiver in the hands, and so that's not on Dak, so he's fine. No, dude, Dak threw it in the same spot 2 times in a row, And Dan Orlovsky clearly illustrates that he had options.
Yeah.
I'm a little burned out, or quite a bit burned out on the Cowboys. I'm tired of hearing about how great they are. I'm tired of hearing about how, they were one of the best teams in the league. Yeah, well, what does that look like when they lose to Tom? Like,
Derek Carr or Dak Prescott?
I think you have to take back Dak on stats alone. You have to take Dak on stats alone.
You know that feeling when you almost get in a car accident and you're like, oh my God. That's the feeling I just had when I thought you were taking Derek.
The feeling that all of you have about LeBron is what I have about Dak. I'm tired of hearing about Dak, dude. I'm tired of hearing about, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Circumcising mosquitoes, and he can get back into actually moving on and selling the team.
Oh my God, that was amazing. That was amazing. Maple says the Cowboys will let you down in the playoffs. It's fact. Well, Mapes, you're not wrong. The Cowboys will let you down. They're going to lose.
But I don't know, though. Is that Dak, or is that just the Cowboys sucking? You know what I mean? I don't know. With Aaron Rodgers, I can say, okay, Tom Brady beat Aaron Rodgers with Scotty Miller. Tom Brady's just better than you.
Tom Brady makes you better.
That just is what it is. Yeah. But with Dak, I'm left sitting here yeah, I think Dak makes you better, but then he goes and throws bad picks, right? Yeah. And then conveniently, 7 of his picks hit dude in the hand and bounce to someone. I don't know. I just really struggle with it.
Andy H says Dallas has to do to Dak what the Raiders did to Carr, average QBs.
Yeah,
I don't even disagree with that.
Dude, the problem is Dak's a 5,000-yard average QB. That's the problem.
That's why I'm telling you. You know what the problem in Dallas is? It's always flipping Leighton Vander Esch. Leighton Vander Esch is always hurt. Your mom's always hurt. That's the problem. You have all this talent. It's just they never meet expectations. And that's why guys like Micah Parsons, will Micah Parsons ever play in a Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys?
No.
Probably not. Not until Jerry gets hit by a bus. It's probably not going to happen. I don't know. I don't believe that Dak is the entirety of the problem in Dallas. Jaron Eccles, who, by the way, you have a bigger quarterback problem than Dallas does. Yeah, I fell you, Alex. Been a long 20-year watching the Dolphins. Well, Fat Jesus, Dak Prescott or Kyler Murray? Dak Prescott. I swear to God. Do not. Sir? As a grown man with testosterone in your balls, do not say you're taking Kyler Murray.
Jay Cutler.
Answer the question.
Dak Prescott.
Damn right. Kyler Murray. And Fat Jesus, why would you ask such an inflammatory question? Tanner Plummer says, screw the Bears for injuring Hurts. Just kidding. It wasn't a dirty hit. Injuries are part of football.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts is healthy. You guys go to the Super Bowl.
Apparently, that's not true when it comes to GS7 and Jalen Ramsey on the sideline.
That was not a penalty.
That was not a penalty, dude.
That was not a penalty. Football 50, 10 of the hour, every hour, presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza.
Right now with Papa Murphy's, we've got a great deal.
Which means I make more great pizza. A lot more.
That's our extra-large New York-style take-and-bake pizza. And it's everything you'd expect from a classic New York-style pizza, hot and fresh out of your oven. And only $9.99.
Do I have to share it?
It's recommended, but not required. Papa Murphy's. We make great pizza, so you can make the pizza great.
Such a great deal.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Papa Murphy's Pizza presents Football at 50, 10 of the hour, every hour. Get the XL NY for $9.99 in the Papa Murphy's mobile app. Download the app now. Super easy to use. Let's go. I agree. LFG button. LFG says, I smashed the like button. Please
Thank
do.
You.
We appreciate that.
Thank
We're at
you.
74 likes. We have an hour to go. Let's see if we can double that. We'd love every day, and you got to subscribe to the show, first of all.
We built this program on NIL.
We're back.
We built this program on memberships.
That's right. We are live and local every morning, 6 a.m. We're at 9,200 subs, trying to get to 10,000.
And I can confirm. Let me get back here.
You can confirm.
I can confirm on the program we are nearing 50 members in the group.
Wow, already in less than a week.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we appreciate that, you guys. Thank you. But yeah, we've had about 750 views today, and we've only got 74 likes. So let's hook it up. Hit the like button. Josh Lovren, Gino was coffin ready, and Ramsey should have been cuffed. No, he shouldn't have.
Oh, please, dude.
You might want to step out of bounds fully. You might not want to run right at Jalen Ramsey because he ain't that guy.
That's what I mean. Like, why?
Jalen's ready for the smoke.
Why would you run right at Jalen? Like, I understand Jalen, 9 plays out of 10, you shouldn't hit the quarterback who's going out of bounds. But Jalen is standing in bounds on the boundary.
Yes.
Dude runs right up to him and then is surprised when Jalen drops him.
But this is the problem that I have. Like, we have stopped allowing physical play in the NFL. Like, when you go back to this situation, with DeMar in Buffalo, that's not a physical play.
No.
And we all get into those situations and we want to say, well, DeMar Hamlin, that was a physical. It wasn't a physical play. It was a perfect, tragic circumstance. We're allowed to hit. It's football. Like what you saw with Jalen Ramsey and GS7 on the sideline was a perfectly legal football play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you're GS7, you need to get the flip out of the way because Jalen Ramsey don't care about you or your kids.
And his name is John C.
Right? He's that dude. He's that dude. He is that dude. Like it just is. It just is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Like, again, perfect time for this drop. If you don't like it in the NFL, go play intramurals, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Go play intramurals, brother.
Like if you don't want to get hit, go play intramurals. I don't have time for you, man.
It's Division I football.
It just is what it is. Tanner Plummer, a member of the program. Let's be real here. Nick Foles is the best QB in NFL history. He's not wrong.
Please.
I mean, Nick Foles has to be better than Tom Brady.
Come on.
I mean.
Come on.
Josh Lovren, GS7 did what he did to set up the game-missing field goal. Exactly right. Mapes, what's up? Kerry Collins, Rex Grossman, and Noodle Arm Peyton Manning have been to the Super Bowl. Dak hasn't won a playoff game.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what?
That's what I'm saying.
Why would you say such hurtful things about my guy? He's not my guy. Jake's made him my guy. My guy, just to be clear, is the sex machine, right? That's my guy. Justin Herbert, the sex machine.
Right.
It's my guy. Bolton says Dak Prescott is no Kyle Orton, but he'll do. Here we go. Here we go.
Look at you.
Here we go.
I thought I just heard you read a Kyle Orton take.
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
Can
I get it? Can you mix in some smoking Jay Cutler? Can you mix in I don't know.
Look, man. Look. Dak Prescott's no Chad Henne, but he'll do.
Chad Henne.
Chad Henne's a really good one. Right? Like if you think about go to like the there are so many.
He's no Mark Bolger, but he'll do.
Mark Bolger was actually a really good quarterback.
Uh-huh.
He was a really good quarterback. Why do you hate on Mark Bolger?
He's okay.
Mark Bolger was amazing, and he was a really good dude. I know Mark pretty well from my days in the Lou. So, you beat me to Eric Kramer. Dak Prescott's no Eric Kramer, but he'll do. Okay. LFG says, Kyle Orton slander, here for it. He's no Cade McNabb. Why is it all Bears quarterbacks now? Why are we doing mediocre Bears quarterbacks?
He's no Bob Avellini.
Oh, here we go. Bob Avellini now. Fucking Bob. He's no Mike Tomczak. Hey, bro. He's no Mike Tomczak. Dak Prescott certainly ain't no Mitch Trubisky, but he'll do. What are you doing?
He's no Cade McNown,
but he'll do. Oh, my God. The history of mediocre quarterbacks in Chicago. He's no Bubby Brister, but he'll do. You guys remember Bubby Brister? Oh, my God. Bobby Douglas, exactly. Why?
Oh, my
Gary
God,
Huff,
dude.
Stop it. Let's see. Essay says Dak Prescott is in the conversation of the top 30 Cowboy quarterbacks of all time. Well, Man, they're saying something. Henny does have a ring, yeah, in Kansas City, right? Salty Drunk says he's no Jim McMahon, but he'll do. Jimmy's my guy. That's exactly right.
He's no John Kitna, but he'll do.
No John Kitna. Are you looking up a list of mediocre quarterbacks?
Yes. He's no Quincy Carter in 2003, but he'll do.
Cocaine! No, he's no Boomer Esiason, but he'll do. He's no. Listen,
he's no Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny Testaverde was a solid quarterback. Vinny Testaverde doesn't work.
Well,
here's a bomb.
Vinny's
right
not.
Here's the one of all of them. Dak Prescott's no Achilles Smith, but he'll do. But he'll do. He'll do. You know, he's no.
Can somebody work in a Jamarcus Russell take for me?
He's no Dan Orlovsky, but he'll do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Tanner Plummer. He's no Nate Sudfeld, but he'll do. Stop it. LFG says Dak Prescott's no Steve Pallure, but he'll do. Dak Prescott's no Rick Meyer, but he'll do. Oh, my God. I could do just Dak Prescott's no Brady Quinn. I could do the history of...
He's no Mark Sanchez.
He's no Dan McGuire, but he'll do. Oh, my God. Stan Gelbaugh, Josh Loverin. Let's go.
Oh, I got one. Dak is no Ryan Leaf, but
he'll do. Oh, here's one. Talking with Raphael podcast. Dak Prescott or Baker Mayfield?
Okay, why are you being offensive, dude?
Dak Prescott is way better than
Baker's
Baker.
Clearly superior.
No,
come on.
Look, I have no problem with Bake. I'm not a Bake hater. He's a great number 2.
He is, actually. He really is.
But Baker Mayfield ain't no Dak Prescott, but he'll
when I woke
do.
Up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Dude, come on.
Dak Prescott's no Jake Plummer. You brought up John Kitna. You said John Kitna. Are you kidding me right now?
He's no Jared Goff, but he'll do.
Oh, my God. That's right. That's right. He's no Jared Goff, but he'll do.
What would I do without you?
Good Lord.
Wow.
You know,
that was incredible.
The history of mediocre quarterbacks. He's no Eric Hipple. Do you guys remember Eric Hipple? Oh, my God. Steve Pallure. What a pull that was. That's the winner. Steve Pallure is. I don't know how you beat that. I don't know. Mapes goes Doug Flutie.
Oh, my God. Doug Flutie.
Like, who are some of the, like, obscure... Like, there has to be... Listen, the rule on the obscure guy is everybody has to know him, but
he's obscure.
But you haven't thought about him in, I mean, like, think of any freaking Arizona Cardinal quarterback. Who was the backup? Who was Carson Palmer's backup all those years?
Oh, my God.
I can't remember his name.
I'll look it up.
He's no Hugh. Exactly. He's no John Freeze. Exactly right. Exactly right. Ooh, is that Kevin Warren thing done? Is Kevin Warren going to the Bears? Oh, that would be huge for us. Meaning the Bears. I hope that's true. Ooh, there it is right there. Breaking news. According to Ian Rappaport, the Bears are expected to name Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren as their new president and CEO, a major hire for the organization. And Warren, who spent time in the NFL prior to college football, as one of the top executives of the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, we are now the Vikings. Damn. Damn. He's no Randall Cunningham.
Oh, I got it. He's no Drew Stanton, but he'll do.
He's no Drew Stanton, but he'll do. Oh, yes, San Diego State. I couldn't remember his name either. He's no Don Makowski, but he'll do.
Dude, he's no John Skelton, but he'll do. Oh, my God.
Skelton.
John Skelton, bro.
John
Holy
Skelton.
crap.
Oh, God, you're deep into the rabbit hole of Cardinal quarterbacks.
He's no Blaine Gabbert, but he'll do.
He's no Blaine Gabbert. What do you make of this
Holy
Kevin Warren
crap.
story?
Well, I think obviously the Big Ten is losing an incredibly talented individual, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the minimum. I think if you're the Pac-12, this is phenomenal news. I think you're thrilled to hear this. I think I think it's a window of opportunity. You have a couple days here to, I don't know, to get on the phone and like try to sway some TV, executive opinions maybe. Hey, Kevin Warren just left the Big Ten. They're in trouble. Come over here.
But in all seriousness, get into that a little bit. If you look at what Kevin Warren means to the Big Ten, I mean, he negotiated the largest television contract in the history of college athletics. I mean, this is a big deal now. And frankly, the work has been done, right? But I think the next biggest step is getting Oregon and Washington into the conference.
Yeah.
And I'm curious who the next guy is to do that, because this is no small job. The Big Ten is one of the premier jobs in all of professional sports. And Kevin Warren just walked away to be the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. Jake, I think this is a big deal. And I think if you are the Pac-10, it gives you you feel like it might give you a little bit of a lifeline.
Yeah, I just think it's an opportunity in time. I think that it's very rare that the Big Ten has any sort of drama or issues or really any sort of weakness, if you will. And I think that the Pac needs to take advantage of this. And I think they especially need to take advantage of it because they know that Oregon and Washington are on the clock as far as being in their conference and not being in the Big Ten. So to me, I just think I'd be on the phone, stirring the pot. Like, I'd be on the phone saying things like, hey, man, like, the Big Ten just lost this juggernaut of a commissioner to the NFL. We have some great things happening here. Like, let's put this together. And I'd reignite the Amazon conversation. I'd recall ESPN, Fox, like, everybody, call them, do it. Like, get told no if you have to. That's what I would be doing.
But I don't think it puts you in that position. I truly do not believe it puts you in that position, because I think you still have a membership problem and a viewership problem. I think what it puts you in position to do is you go to Washington and Oregon, and you say, you're going to be our flagships now. We're going to give you a larger cut. Stay in the conference. Big Ten's coming apart. You don't want to go there. Stay with us. Let's get a grant of rights done right now. That's the phone call I'd be making. Fox and NBC and ESPN are not going to walk away from any TV deals that they have now. My feeling is this gives the Pac-12 an opportunity to stay together. Yeah. And it depends, though, who takes the job in the Big Ten, because I think your first order of business in the Big Ten, and I could be wrong, but I think your first order of business in the Big Ten is to go ahead and get yourself a power player. And I think when you look at Kevin Warren and what his absence will mean to this conference, I think this is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you recover from this. I don't if you're the Big Ten. Kevin Warren is an operator. There's no doubt about that. And I think when you start looking at the way that the Big 12 is operating right now with your mark, and you start looking at the weakness that is out west in the Pac-10 with George Kliavkoff, I think you're absolutely in a position where you have to go hit a home run. Mm-hmm. You got to put an interim in there that can do the job, and then you got to go get a titan of sports or business to go run this conference.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I just think that the Pac doesn't have a lot of options. Like, if I'm Washington and Oregon, I've probably already made up my mind that I'm leaving. And I agree. I would call them, and I would do what you said to do. I would. But I also think that I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I just think, anytime you're talking about contractual situations and a factor changes in the human being aspect of that contractual agreement, things change, things shift, things can happen. And so to me, yeah, you're right. ESPN and Fox and all the power players in distribution are not all of a sudden just going to tear up a contract because Kevin Warren's not the commissioner anymore. That's not going to happen.
But doesn't this also beg the question of what happens if Jim Harbaugh leaves?
Yeah.
Doesn't this also beg the question of, this is because, let's truth tell on the Big Ten now. This is a weak conference football-wise. And again, I know that Ohio State took Georgia to the limit. Okay, great. They still didn't beat them. And you have 4 straight championships in the SEC. When you go back and you look over time and it's Bama, LSU, Georgia, and I don't know anybody that's not taken Georgia to three-peat here. It's going to be 5 years and the SEC is going to win 5 championships.
Yeah.
You just signed this massive TV deal, but for what? That's the question that I have in my mind. How good can the Pac-10 be versus what the Big Ten can be? Because I see a huge ceiling for the Pac-10, and it's pushing down.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the Big Ten, and I see huge growth. I see a very high ceiling for the Big Ten. I think if you are the Pac-10, you have got to get Oregon and Washington to sign their grant of rights, and you've got to immediately get SMU and San Diego State in the conference, because that's your path to survival. Because this thing with the Big Ten today is a big, big deal. This is a big, big deal. And there's always people that are going to show up, and they are going to take advantage of gaps like Kevin Warren leaving the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, who's going to step up into that spot?
Yeah, and I think that, it's this off season for college football is going to be really dynamic and really interesting. And by the way, good day if you're a Chicago Bears fan, right? This is really exciting news. I think it's really nice to see someone come in who is a power player. That's awesome to see finally. And I think if you're Justin Fields, you're really excited about this. I would think, but
I would think,
who the hell knows, right? But yeah, I mean, I think for college football, it's unfortunately one of these situations where it is dominated by the SEC, and I do agree that who you hire is really going to set a precedent and set a standard, because if you hire anybody less than Kevin Warren, anybody who's less in ability, than Kevin was, you're taking a step back, and that's just the reality of the situation. And if I'm being honest, I do think it helps that Kevin was such a dynamic personality. I do think it helps that the guy did so much for your conference. He took your conference to this next echelon and really led college football financially and off the football field. Now, you're right. You lose him and you suck on the field for the most part, and the SEC is as dominant as it is. That's not a great look. So this hire may damn well be one of the most important hires you've ever made at the conference level.
Yep. Let's see. T. Lawrence Gragston. Big Ten got the 7-year, $7 billion deal already locked up. We'll be fine. Well, I'm not even saying that you're going to lose that deal. I don't think
we're not
saying
that. No.
But the question is, what happens to the next deal? Because if Kevin Warren leaves and your business model, because he's an operator. Again, he's a guy that grows business lines, revenue lines. He's an operator. So the question is, who do you replace him with? And I think the other big question here is, can you raid the Pac-10 anymore without Kevin Warren there?
Yeah.
Theoretically, Kevin couldn't figure out a way to do that without taking money from his constituents, which was never going to work.
Yeah.
So the question is, does the next commissioner of the Big Ten come in and immediately try to get a streaming deal with an Amazon? I know that's really interesting. That is very interesting. What does NBC say about, Pac-12 After Dark, which they're now turning into Big Ten After Dark with USC and UCLA?
Yeah.
To a streaming deal with Amazon. That's a huge question. It'll be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Essay says George Kliavkoff's weakness have been magnified since Yormark became the Big 12 commissioner. Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and I think when Yormark is putting on speaking clinics repeatedly, both at a dais and on the field after the Big 12 championship game, I think it just solidifies that take for sure.
Yep, I agree. Lopes fan Gabe, GCU alum out here leading the sports news cycle. Congrats, Kevin, and to the Bears.
Yeah, man.
Kevin Warren's a high caliber dude. That is a guy that I like. That guy. He is. I'm happy as a Bears fan. I'm happy about that, because I think when you look at the major issue facing the Chicago Bears right now is their stadium situation. Soldier Field is just not a viable revenue alternative. And I don't know that rebuilding, there's a new model out for the Bears to get a dome stadium essentially at Soldier Field. I don't know if that works or not. They bought Arlington Park, the old racetrack out in Arlington Heights.
Yeah.
I mean, for the obvious reason of creating a sports and entertainment district. But I don't know. Chicago Bear football should be played on the lakefront, man.
Agreed.
And if they can get a deal done at Soldier Field, I think you should get a deal done there. There's no doubt about that. We'll see. Nathan Sharp says, alternative take, the Big Ten is such a good conference that their executives get more lucrative positions afterward, and so they attract better talent. Oh, absolutely, that could be.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I think it is a really good gig.
Well,
I don't think there's any doubt.
Listen, what the Big Ten solidifies every year, repeatedly, is that winning on the football field doesn't matter if you're a business operator. Like, winning on the football field helps when you win. It helps that Ohio State's in the playoff damn near every year. It helps that, like this year, it helps that Harbaugh in Michigan got to the playoff. But it is not necessary per se to win national championships to get $1 billion or $7 billion deals done. Like, what matters is branding and value and viewership. So even if you suck but you're getting viewers, you're still going to get the huge deal. That's what I think this shows you.
Power resides, and this is our conversation about Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Power resides in the SEC.
This is Coach Saban.
If you don't embrace that, you're going to fall further behind.
Yeah.
And I did a short yesterday here on our YouTube channel about why people hate Nick Saban. Well, Nick Saban put out his top 5 teams, his final top 5 teams, or his top 25, and he left Tennessee out of his top 5. So, of course, Kirby Smart leaves Alabama out of his top 5. And it's like, this is a game that we all play. Are you really pissed at Nick Saban because he left Tennessee out of his top 5, Rocky Top? Is that why you're really pissed? Rocky Top, tell me this right now. You're really pissed at Nick Saban because he didn't put you in the top 5. No, you're really pissed, Rocky Top, because Nick Saban's better than you. You're really pissed, Rocky Top, because Alabama's better than Tennessee. You're really pissed, Rocky Top, because even if you're in the top 5, it doesn't mean a damn thing because you're not as good as Alabama and you're certainly not as good as Georgia right now. And by the way, Georgia, congratulations on your 2 national championships. You're still not on par with the Sabanator.
Facts.
So you can go ahead and hate on Nick Saban. You can go ahead and hate on the fact that, it's an SEC bias. Okay, sure. But is it really a bias when they're the biggest line in the kingdom? Because they are. College football is dictated by the SEC. The SEC is dictated by Nick Saban. Period. Yeah. Ask Jimbo Fisher.
He's the benchmark.
The SEC is dictated by Nick Saban. It is what it be, and there's nothing you're going to do about that.
That's how I look at it.
There's just nothing you're going to do about that.
Yeah.
It's
true. I mean, it's 100% true, and I think that the true measurement of who controls something is, whether you're talking about them when you have success or not. And I think everybody was talking about Alabama, A, getting snubbed in the playoff, but then B, in the bigger picture, that it is untrue that Georgia, has taken over and controls everything, because the fact is even with back-to-back national championships, they're still now just barely dipping their toe in the water of what...
Just barely.
Just barely dipping their toe in the water of what Nick Saban has accomplished. And that kind of puts into perspective the mountain you have to climb. And I'm telling you, and I know he's a Georgia alum, I get it, but David Pollock running his freaking mouth on ESPN, sitting next to Nick Saban in his Geico blue suit, probably was not the best idea for next year's college football season. I'm just going out on a limb, but talking a bunch of junk to the old Sabanator probably wasn't that good of an idea, David. Like, it probably would have been better to say, hey, coach, with all due respect, you've accomplished a ton, but I personally feel like Georgia's in control. If you had said that, I think you'd have got a pass. But sitting here saying there's no way Alabama's in control, there's no way that it's not Georgia, we get it, man. You just woke up a sleeping giant who took a couple of years off and hasn't been working as hard, and now he's back on the train, and now he's coming for that ass again. And that's what I think nobody wants to talk about. It is that easy for Nick Saban. It's easy to build an NFL caliber roster to play for a national championship in college football, because that's what it is. Does anybody dispute that Georgia's an NFL roster? Does anybody dispute that? Hell, we had an argument earlier this week about the greatness of the god Stetson Bennett, and that he's going to do amazing things.
No, we had an argument that you hate
Stetson
Stetson Bennett.
I know the guy didn't have a locker when he signed up, but Come on, dude.
Well, look, it's Alabama.
Roll Tide.
All right, so there you go. The breaking news this morning right here on the show that Kevin Warren is going to become the next president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. Leaving his post as commissioner of the Big Ten. All breaking news on this show is presented by our good friends at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Whether you need pellets for your smoker, seasoning for your wings, wing dust, any sauce, anything having to do with barbecue. They've got the best equipment. You know that already. They've got the Traeger, the Big Green Egg, the Camp Chef, the Yoder. They've got the best tongs in the business. You need a cutting block. You need some knives. Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. In fact, in all 5 of their stores here in the great state of Utah, from Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and Murray, they've all got the meat too. You need a brisket? bbqpitstop.com.
And the cool thing is you can call these guys. You know, like you can call them and you can say, hey, like I'm getting a smoker, you know, and I really like to eat this or I like to eat that or whatever the case may be. What do you recommend? And they'll talk to you and they'll give you recommendations about like pellet flavoring or seasoning. Like that's how the asado seasoning thing even came about on the show. We went and did our BYU funeral where Oregon absolutely torched BYU
funeral.
Yeah, it was a watch party, but after the first quarter when BYU was down like 100 points, like it kind of turned into a more negative thing for BYU. Yeah, when we were there, dude, Clinton Lehigh, dude, Buddy seasoned these wings with asado seasoning and took over the entire party. Everyone was like, dude, like, what are you seasoning these with? Now we've got like 3 bottles at the house that we use on wings. And that's the greatness of Barbecue Pit Stop is that they know what you want even when you don't know what you want.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's why you go to bbqpitstop.com. Stop by any of their stores, Logan, Layton, Lehigh, the Jeezy. And, of course, Salt Lake City on State Street. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Pretty simple question for you. Should the Utah Jazz trade for DeAndre Ayton? And the reason this is coming up is because, without question, you have a deal where the Phoenix Suns are aggressively pursuing deals in the NBA trade market. They are absolutely. Riley O'Brien wants to know, how do you sign up for the membership? Well, it's right there.
Riley.
Hello.
Riley.
It's
my
so
guy.
easy.
My guy.
It's easier than making a DeAndre Ayton trade. But the point is that the Suns need help. I mean, they are a beleaguered, lack of man-powered roster right now. And I think they know they're not championship material this year. But this question about how do you put this trade together, and I was talking to an NBA source yesterday who said the Suns are going to move DeAndre Ayton. Is that now or is that in the summer? I don't know, but it's going to happen. And I think if you're the Utah Jazz, you knew that you wanted this deal in the summer. They tried to get DeAndre Ayton the day that they traded Donovan Mitchell to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to get that deal done. Well, there's no time like the present to get that deal done, in my opinion. And if you have to move valuable assets, now don't also forget that DeAndre Ayton makes good bread. He makes $30 million. And if you're the Utah Jazz, what is the biggest issue with taking DeAndre Ayton and let's say Dario Saric? Because you need a power forward. That's an expiring contract.
Right.
If you take him and you trade a Beasley, Vando, THT to get that deal done, and you wind up with a first-round pick, and maybe you route somebody else, and maybe as part of that deal, Jordan Clarkson ends up with the Lakers, who also sends you a first-round pick. You get 2 first-round picks in this coming draft. How is that not a win for you? Because I would tell you right now, today, right off the jump, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
And the Suns are looking to deal. Jake, that's a deal I make all day long.
Yeah, I think it's a deal you got to make. And I think, it's the thing is that there is this conundrum. There is this question that we seem to get constantly on this show that we have to vacillate about every single day, which is Lauri Markkanen a 4 or is he a 3? And if they sign a big, will that guy play 5 or will he play 4? And here's what this is the point that I want you guys to hear me on most with the Jazz right now in these trades. When we talk about DeAndre Ayton, understand the guy's skill set and what he brings to a rotation, a starting 5, rather than trying to put a label on him of a 5 or a 4, or in Lauri's case, a 3, right? Like, let's look at these guys for their skill set. Well, what do we know DeAndre Ayton's skill set to be? Hey, he's not a great defender, although I will say he has improved. He's certainly not some elite defender. He can get the job done most nights. Okay, average defender. Okay, well, let's go to the other end of the floor, offense. That's his strength, we all know. Pick and roll, pick and pop, good offensive rebounder. Typically, he's a pretty good passer for a big when you run sets where he needs to pass, like a backdoor baseline cut, let's say, where he needs to pass that ball down. He can make that pass, So that's the strength. And when I look at the Utah Jazz, he is a 5 for sure. If we want to put a label, he is a 5. But for the Jazz, I think the reason he works so well is because he can run the floor. He's an active big. He's not one of these guys that's slow, sort of plodding down the floor. He's one of these guys that is a bit less physical, but understands the dynamic of, hey, Mike Conley's got the ball here. I'm going to set this screen, and then I'm going to, be ready for that basketball. And that's what I think could really help this team. I also think on the other side for the Suns, Malik Beasley is everything that the doctor ordered for the Suns, meaning 3-point shot, mid-range guy. I think you could even develop him into a 4 or 5 minute spurt, bring the ball up guy. I think he can be that for a championship team when they need it. So that's why I think this deal works, and that's why I think they should make the deal. You need that deal done.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, welcome Riley O'Brien to membership on the program. How close does that put us to 50?
Let me hit the refresh tab here. Oh, hang on, it's going to be a second.
That would be amazing. Riley O'Brien, are you potentially the 50th member? We've only been offering memberships for 6 days, and we have 50 members on the program. It is pretty awesome. And if you don't know about our membership platform, what it does is you pay $9.99 a month, and you get exclusive videos every day. We give you one member-exclusive video a day. That could be Life Hack. That could be Hot Sports Take. Certainly could be Inside Jazz trade information, as we gave you last week. Could be a number of things, but that also gets you membership into our member-only Instagram chat group, which has been lit. And I think, again, I would rely on our members to tell you, hey, it's awesome being in that group.
YouTube says we have 44 members, but I'm pretty sure that's 2 days behind. I'm pretty sure we've crossed 50, or we're very close.
We are very close to 50.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, we told you, I just want to keep putting this out there. I know we've had some issues. You guys have had some issues with I guess there was some issues with joining or whatever because YouTube had been doing a bunch of updating. Opening our studio is what they call it for creators. There's definitely been some updates made as far as what they're showing us. So just hang with it. It should smooth out. That's usually what happens when they make a bunch of updates. There's some wrinkles.
Yeah, but you also get exclusive merch drops first. You get discounts on our merch. You get invitations to our big events like our birthday bash. March 10th, you guys find out who the guests are first. You find out what the prizes are first. Like all of that stuff, you get that first right here for being a member of the Monty Show. So again, Riley, welcome to the club, my friend. Everybody welcome Riley O'Brien.
Let's go.
The greatest RV sales executive in the business. You need an RV. You have questions about RVs. Riley O'Brien's your dude. So Riley, appreciate you being on the program. Talking about DeAndre Ayton, Andy H says we should be taking a bad contract with high picks when we start trading. Who do you mean? Are you Andy H? You talking about the Jazz?
Did you say we should?
Well, I don't think you should be taking bad contracts. What I think you should be doing is taking Dario Saric, who's on an expiring deal. You look at guys, the contracts you want. I'm okay with a DeAndre Ayton's contract because he's a transformative talent who's got NBA playoff and NBA Finals experience.
Yeah.
So you're willing to take that in a young player who's only on his second contract.
Yeah.
And he's a guy, by the way, that you can trade as well. So that to me, I think is you would do that. But I'm not a believer that you ever take bad contracts. Salty Drunk says, welcome, Riley. Oh, shiitake mushrooms. Welcome to the program. Please, by the way, if you're here today as well, all 132 of you, please go ahead and hit the like button. We're at 96 likes. We always like to get at least 100, but we would love always, as usual, to get more than that. Shiitake Mushroom says, successful season? No. They're under 500, 11th in the West. The fact that the Jazz are having to rebuild, again, just shows the failure of the franchise. Okay, You're completely wrong.
So we get it. You're a hater, number
You're
one.
completely wrong
You have no
about
idea
that.
what you're talking about as far as their process or where
First
they're
of all,
at.
they are not 11th in the West. They're 9th. Yes, they are 2 games under 500. But they're not a complete failure as a franchise. They're rebuilding by design, not out of incompetence.
Yeah.
So I would completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
The Macho Man, also a member of the program, says pass on Ayton. He does not have a winning mentality.
And hey, listen, I mean, I don't completely disagree with that take. I think DeAndre's had some issues.
Attitude issues?
Yeah, he's had some attitude issues. He's gone at it, going back to that playoff game. I think it was, what was it, against the Pelicans? I think that happened. The Pels, where Monty Williams sat him down and would not play him. And ever since then, there's been kind of a dynamic. And I think, and this is kind of the issue for the Suns. Like, the Suns need to move on from drama. Basically, the Suns need to get to the business of winning a championship. Like,
correct.
You made that NBA Finals appearance, but that's not good enough anymore. Like, it's time to stop living on 2 year ago, success. It's time to start saying, okay, yeah, we got shellacked by Dallas last season, and now we need to figure out what we're doing with the second half of this year.
All of our NBA talk on the Monty Show, presented by Quick Quack Car Wash. Make sure today, it's a beautiful sunshiny day here in Utah. Make sure you get yourself a Quick Quack Car Wash, best wash in the business, but also the best people in the business. They're professional. They're friendly. You don't have to deal with some computer stand thing where you try to get your card in there. No, you hand it to a professional, swipes it, hands it back to you. For me, I don't ever give them a credit card because I have a membership. And what that means is I pay $21.99 a month for their best car wash. I roll up, they put my plate in. They're like, hey, Monty, how you doing? Here's your dashboard wash. 5 minutes in and out. It's convenient, and the wash is really, really good. From wheels and tires to waxes and shines, you get it all when you go to Quick Quack Car Wash. Make sure you bring the kids. I love that they're tunnels where you actually drive through to get the wash. Of all these different colors, their soaps are different colors. It's really fun for the kids at Quick Quack Car Wash, who present all of your NBA and Utah Jazz talk on the program. Let's see. Where are we? Tyler P says, Mushroom's clearly a Laker fan.
It doesn't. I mean, listen, dude, we're not going to get into some pissing match with Mushrooms. Like,
anybody that thinks this season has been unsuccessful, I think you're not.
You just don't understand what is happening here.
Jeremy Bolton, the mayor of Monty Town, says Riley O'Brien is no Rex Grossman, but he'll do.
That's right.
Welcome to Monty Member Town, Riley O'Brien. As the mayor, that's a big tip of the cap, Riley O'Brien. And
as a member, I just want to keep pointing this out. Hey, there's Jeremy Severe right there. Right there. You see him? What did he say?
The Utah Jazz is one of the top 10 winningest franchises in NBA history. The Jazz know exactly what they are doing for a rebuild. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mike Maples says, it's Thursday. That means a Quick Quack supply run at Barbecue Pit Stop and a haircut.
Dude, okay. Low key, I really want to get a barber on this show. I kind of want to. How many of you guys get haircuts like once a month? Because we're kind of on that pace. I get a haircut and my hair grows really fast. We have a barber, our guy Jay Taffa, over in South Jordan.
Dave's Barber Shop in South Jordan.
Yeah. How many of you guys would want a barber on the show?
I generally, and now because, there's a little less snow on the roof, I get about a haircut every once a month. I probably need 2 a month, but I don't have time. When you say get a barber on the show, what do you mean?
Like an official barber of the show.
Oh, okay.
Hey, this is the guy. If you're, and maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it just for members. Should we do it just for members?
We could do a member discount.
We could do a member discount for a barber.
Go see my guy Jay Taffa. Tell him you heard about it on the Monty Show. Riley O'Brien says I haircut every 2 weeks. I like it. Mapes says once a month, easy, if not 3 weeks. Yeah, seriously
dude.
I'm probably every 3 weeks. Talking with Raphael says once a month. Go support Raphael's podcast, by the way. KJ says, yes, top 10 without a ring. We need a ring. Yes, you do, and I think you'll have one.
Yeah.
Talking with Raphael. I don't know why I say it that way. I used to get a haircut once a week. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
Dude, but see, here's the thing. When you have a barber, because going to some big box store super clips. That's not a haircut, dude. Like, with all due respect.
Yeah, and I like my guy Jay Toppa.
Yeah,
because,
Jay's a good dude.
Yeah, that's it. When you sit in a barber chair, you don't want no BS.
No.
Riley O'Brien says, my barber is Zach Peckrell in SLC. Phenomenal. He would be legit.
Yeah.
I agree. Jake wants a barber on retainer, Jesse Harsh
I do.
says.
I want to bring dude in, and we have this chair over here in the corner you guys don't see a lot. I want to get rid of this chair. I want to put a barber chair there, and let's do the show.
You're ridiculous.
Let's do the show.
Kenny says, imagine having hair. Yeah, I don't know what that's like. Whoa. Comment dump. Salty Drunk says, get a back sack and a crack, Jake.
I don't even know what that means, dude.
I don't want to know what that means.
I don't want to know what a back sack is.
Andy H says, haven't had a haircut in decades. My guy. Look at that. Is that you, though, in that picture, in that beard? I'm so jelly. Jeremy says, my barber is myself. The mayor shaves his head.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Consistent. Derek Carr officially bids goodbye to the Raiders today. So it's that. This
Here
is
we go.
This really be the haps. Derek Carr tweeted, Raider Nation, it breaks my heart I didn't get an opportunity to say goodbye in person. We certainly have been on a roller coaster in our 9 years together. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful and appreciative of the years of support you gave to my family and me. We had our share of both heartbreaking moments and thrilling game-winning drives, and it always felt like you were there next to me. I once said that if I were not a Raider, I would rather be at home, and I meant that, but I never envisioned it ending this way. That fire burning inside of me to win a championship still rages. Wow, this is a powerful statement. A fire no man can extinguish, only God. So I look forward to a new city and a new team who, no matter the circumstances, will get everything I have. Winning a championship is what I've always wanted and what I will continue to work toward. God bless you all, and with love, DC4. Wow. That is
powerful.
That's powerful.
Yeah, man. And I'm happy for Buddy. I think he's going to do big things in a new organization.
I'm happy for Buddy.
Yeah, I think he needed new scenery. He needed to get out from garbage management, and I really hope that he finds his way to
the Jets,
to a good situation. But again, if I'm him, I'm not going to the Jets. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not doing that. Wow, you don't have time.
Look at Kanai. Kick rocks, Carr. Thanks for 9 years of mediocre football. Let's get it, Raider Nation. Has he really been terrible?
I don't think he's been terrible, dude.
I don't think he's
There's
been terrible.
There's at least half that time where they as a team have been garbage, where like he has nothing to work with.
Yeah. Giggity says, hard to say goodbye in person when you leave the team because you got benched. Ouch. Riley O'Brien, the newest member, says, John Cena drop request, please.
You need a John Cena drop.
And his name is John Cena.
Let's go.
There it is, my guy. Macho Man, oh yeah. Since the pandemic started, I've taken to shaving my head weekly. There you go. I like it. Jesse Harsh says, Derek Carr, you know what I said? I'd rather retire than leave the Raiders. I lied. Wow.
Bro, Jesse.
You guys are harsh.
Jesse, when are you jumping into the membership, bro? Come on, dude.
Harsh. Jesse Harsh is
harsh.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. When are you joining the members, man?
Yeah, he you know.
Come on, dude.
Let's see. Per Broken League, he was an MVP.
Okay.
I don't think he was terrible. Pre-broken leg, he was an MVP candidate. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. KJ says, no, he hasn't had a coach for more than 2 years, 9 years, and 11 coaches didn't help either.
See what I mean? He didn't have anything to work with, dude.
At San Diego State says, take care, Derek Carr. Officially putting stipulations on a no-trade clause. No terrible, but certainly didn't rise to the challenge in key situations. Okay, that I can get down with.
Mm-hmm.
That I can get down with. Salty Drunk says, Jake, give me a rack attack.
You need a rack attack?
SA says, Derek Carr is no David Carr, but he'll do.
Well.
Just ask the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
What if Derek goes to Houston and becomes David? He's no David Klingler, but he'll do. Oof.
Man.
Andy H says, as a Raider fan, Carr is a good man, but damn, it felt like commitment to mediocrity. He's not terrible, but not worth his last or current contract. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. And he says RN4L, Raider Nation for life. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
but let's be honest. Anytime you're saying, well, no, he wasn't terrible.
He wasn't garbage.
That means he wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I think
Dak Prescott. No, he wasn't terrible.
But for me, I mean, what's really the difference between the two? Dak's put up 5,000-yard seasons, but Dak hasn't won anything. And I'm really being serious here. Hear me out. Is Dak Prescott really that much more influential than Derek Carr? Is he really that much better? Yeah, Dak has huge seasons under his name, but neither of them have really won anything. And yeah, Dak has gone to the playoffs a bunch more, for sure. Yes.
But what do they have in common, though?
They haven't won.
No, they're in shitty organizations. That's what they. But no, in all seriousness,
yeah,
that's what they have in common. Right? I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are a terrible organization. The Oakland, LA, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders are a terrible organization.
Yeah.
And they both have money to spend, and they just don't know how to spend it. When you have the stadium setups that they have and the fan passion that they have, you should be better.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuse for it. It just is. Yeah. Riley, he's no Kevin Kolb. But he'll do.
Sometimes I think I just say shit.
Kevin Kolb is a great pull. What a mediocre quarterback that guy was. Carr is pretty good QB in my opinion. He is. He's an upgrade in a lot of situations. Yeah. Kenny says, is Derek Carr similar to Bradley Beal? No, Bradley Beal plays football or basketball. Derek Carr plays football. What are you talking about?
What he's saying is that
Hey, Dick, I know what he's saying.
Well,
I know what he's saying. That was called humor. You played, well, no, they're not similar. One plays football, one plays basketball, bro.
Oh, shit. Damn, I am tripping.
Jeremy Severe says Derek Carr should go to Miami.
I agree.
I heard they have concussion problems there.
Yeah, I agree. Miami would be a nice fit.
The Nye guy says Carr needs to be like that dude in Major League. Screw you, Joe Boo. I'm doing it myself.
Well.
Yeah. Andy H says Dak Carr, Derek Prescott.
Bro. Wow. Wow.
That's awesome. I love that. Jeremy Bolton says Derek Carr is no effing Cole Beasley, but he'll do. Come on, Jake. Get it.
Fucking Cole Beasley.
Let's go. Love it. Love it. Salty Drunk says straight through to the catcher, Monty. Exactly. Alex Chacon says Raiders should trade up for C.J. Stroud. That's not a terrible idea. If you're the Oakland Raiders, you should trade up to get the number one pick, frankly. The Raider Nation deserves that.
Yeah,
You know what? But I'm being serious.
But C.J. Stroud is unproven. I don't we've talked all about how the guy is, you know.
Pick who you want. The Raiders should trade up to get the best available quarterback that they grade as their best fit.
Yeah.
No matter who's your number one quarterback.
Bryce, for sure.
Bryce Young at
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young at Alabama. Yeah, Bryce Young's the best quarterback in the draft in this man's opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do we want to save Ryan Smith for tomorrow, or do we do that today?
We can save it for tomorrow.
All right. We'll save it for tomorrow. A couple of non-sports stories I want to get to. Here's a visual representation, and you guys, you're welcome for this. It is my pleasure to make your day, on the program. But here's a visual representation as to why I don't shop at Walmart.
One hit a quitter. I'm talking about clean scoop ball his ass. Oh, this he doing Dave Chappelle.
Watch the guy in the white hoodie right here. Watch this.
Oh shit.
That bro picked up one of those little security rope line things and hit him on the back.
Dude.
I said he hit him on the back at Walmart. He dropped him at Walmart. The best part about this is she's doing play-by-play in the background.
You like how she's like, he's doing Dave Chappelle.
Oh, he doing Dave Chappelle.
Look at the guy in the white.
Oh shit.
Let me get this right, bruh. You roll up into Walmart with a knife in your hand. The guy that was swinging had a knife in his hand. And you just let some dude hit you with a line rope. He's a line stepper.
I'll drop that mother.
And he did.
One hit a quitter. I'm talking about clean scoop ball his ass.
Look at him with this
knife.
Just watch Buddy in the background. Watch him just casually walk over.
He doing Dave Chappelle.
We're good. We're good.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
Dude, how does this even happen, bruh?
You're at Walmart. You're at Walmart. Why I do not freaking shop at Walmart. Are you kidding me?
Dude.
Are you kidding me? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. I don't shop there for a reason. There's just no way. Giggity says, well played with the drop, Jake.
Yeah. You like that?
Oh, my God. Jeremy Bolton's like, he needs some milk. Yeah, but apparently. The Nye guy says, aliens love Walmart. It's a human zoo. It is, and I don't like the zoo. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Alex Chacon says, just simply turning into the parking lot on Walmart at 300 West, the vibe completely changes. Yes, you are
powerful.
You're all of a sudden like, hey, wait, where's my Kevlar? Did I forget my vest at home? Like, do I have an anti-shanking vest that I can wear?
Dude, it's
my God,
bad, bro. Like,
oh my
that's
God,
bad.
Ken Williams, a member, says, "I'm out, guys. Have a great day." Kenny, see you, buddy. Thanks.
Back
see you
is
tomorrow.
broken.
He looked like a turtle on its shell. Oh my God!
Can you imagine being hit like that?
Are there stores you won't go into?
Yeah, Walmart, for sure. I won't go to, like, when we drive to work at 4 a.m. I'm not going to some sketchy ass gas station. I'm not doing that.
And there's some, dude, at that hour, if it's not a Maverick, I'm not going in.
Nice Maverick, not a dingy one, a nice one.
There aren't any dingy Mavericks, but my point is, you know. Jeremy says, anyone surprised this took place at Walmart? No, not at all.
No, dude.
Not at all. Jake Gordon says he's been waiting his whole life for that moment.
Yes.
I think he has. I think he's had. Court McMullen says, dude, grab that thing all nonchalant like he does it on a regular basis.
He did.
I love it. And just watch the guy in the white hood.
Right in the background. I'm talking about clean scoop ball his ass.
I will stick you. Now watch the guy in the white hoodie in the background.
He's doing Dave Chappelle. Oh, shit.
Oh my God, that look. His back is broken.
Dude, we just went full tables and ladders WWE in front of the FedEx and Walmart, dude.
Okay, and because I love you guys so much, I'm going to play one more. And I want you to understand that this one's a little PG-13. But I've been trying to play this for weeks.
It's not just a scooter.
Yeah.
I wanted a fucking bike.
Are you serious?
I fucking hate Christmas now. It's so fucking shite.
I've been trying to play that for weeks. I wanted a bike.
Listen, play it again. Listen to how incredulous the kid is, dude.
I wanted a bike.
It's not just a scooter.
Yeah.
I wanted a fucking bike.
Are you serious?
I fucking hate Christmas now. It's so fucking shite.
Have your kids done that to you? For all the dads out there, the parents in the chat.
Oh my God.
Have your parents complained about the presents?
You know what the thing is though? If your kid's like, you give him a present, it's like, I wanted a fucking bike.
I hate Christmas.
How do you not laugh when he's like, I fucking hate Christmas? How do you not laugh at that? How do you as a parent not...
It's not just a scooter.
Yeah.
I wanted a fucking bike.
Are you serious?
I fucking fucking hate Christmas now.
Oh my God.
And it's so relatable too because he's in his underwear. He's not fully dressed or anything. This is clearly Christmas morning, got up super early.
Oh my God. I just love that kid, his attitude. Now, cursing, by the way, people are like, oh, that's your kid cursing. You're terrible parent.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
culture.
Get the hell out of here.
Dude, that's in the UK. That's their culture. That's not a big problem there. I just love it. A fucking bike. Is this just a scooter? I wanted a fucking bike.
Yeah.
Who are you, Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Amber Spencer's like, yeah, Jake, actual footage of Jake as a kid.
You know what I mean?
The Nye guy, exactly. That's the beginning of Peaky Blinders. But you have to admit, I am a great gift giver.
Yeah.
I
you always
never
came through.
disappoint.
Yeah, you always came through.
I never disappoint.
Yeah.
I'm not the one that's like, oh, hey, I want a new baseball glove, Dad. And then I go to Walmart and get you a knockoff. That's not who this guy is. No, you got a pure handmade Akadema, man.
I still have that glove. I love it.
Amazing. Giggity's like, LOL, pure gold, fucking bike. How do you not love that? Talking with Raphael, like the kids can be so ungrateful.
Raphael, look what you have to look forward to in 3 years,
good luck.
man.
Good luck, Raphael. Good luck. Better get another job because she's going to want diamonds, bro. It is what it is. SA says, almost like Christmas at my house. Giggity says, gotta roll. See you in the member chat later, fellas. Thanks for the show. Thanks,
See you,
Giggity.
Giggity.
Appreciate you being a member. And again,
Yeah.
if you're not a member of the show, I'll put the link in here for you to join the program. It's $9.99 a month, and it's worth it. The member chat alone is amazing. It's $10 a month. You get exclusive videos right here on the Monty Show. You also get access to our Instagram member chat, which is members only on Instagram. But you also get first access to our merch. You also get things like exclusive inside information. We give that to you first before we tweet it in any way, shape, or form. So there's just so many reasons to become a member of the program here. I'm telling you, it's a blast. So consider it. $10 a month. Appreciate you guys. Justin Salas says, my kids know they better be grateful for what they got or I'll take it away. Amazing. Salty Drunk says, it's not the kid's fault, Alex, that comes from the upbringing. I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. K. Nuren, all are fair in fighting, just win.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he hit him with that security. I can't believe that. Court McMullen says that kid is about to go on a lifelong vendetta where he eventually destroys the world. In the end, he will point to that moment as the reason for it all. And he'll be like, yeah, how you like my bike now, Mom?
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
Mapes says he's going to be sharing that story with his grandkids. That's a viral video, by the way.
Dude.
You know that he's going to see that forever. The Nye guy says, have yourself a merry little Christmas. Arlington Bear says, if my kid did that, I would pack up all the gifts and decorations and lock them up.
Have you guys
real.
seen the videos, or did you see the videos when we were going through Christmas time, where parents are dressing up as the Grinch and stealing their kids' gifts to send a message?
I don't understand this whole thing where people dress up and scare their kids. Why are you guys doing that? And I guess it's funny, but your kid is terrified now. Like you dress up as the Grinch, or like these videos, and I turn them off now. These videos where like dad pranks mom and pours a bucket of paint over her head. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, is that funny? I don't think the one kid prank video that I like, there was a trend of ASMR where you like whisper into the and so there was this video of this kid, and his mom was going to do a challenge, this water drinking challenge. Mm-hmm. I think it was. And the kid is sitting there with her. She looks down into the water bottle, and she's on a microphone, like an actual microphone. She looks down in the water bottle. The kid sprays her in the face with the water, gets 2 eggs, and slams them on her head. She looks completely shocked. She's like, what? The kid looks right into the camera and gives like this satanic scream that is just amazing. It is one of the single greatest things I have ever seen. I should probably get help. Trying to find
Amber
Spencer, good morning, says this should be added to the soundbite library, Jake.
A bike?
I wanted a fucking bike. I hate Christmas. That's amazing. Jeremy Bolton says, I wrapped all the empty cereal boxes my kids left in the cupboards for fucking Christmas. Did you really? You did not. You did not. Kurt Meyer says, diamonds and Walmart oxymoron. Exactly. Salty Drunk says, are you swinging hands, Jake, or are you flying solo?
Wait, what does that mean?
He wants to know if you still have a girlfriend.
I have a girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah. Mape says, that's too extreme for cheap laughs. It is. It is. Court McMullen says, parents who do that aren't doing it to teach their kids anything. They're doing it to try and go viral, and I hate it.
I guess.
I can't stand it.
Yeah, I guess.
I really can't. Justin Salas says, oh, yeah, gotta love using your kids' trauma for clicks and views. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how'd your job interview go, Salas?
Yeah.
What happened with that? A couple more, then we got to roll. Roger Thomas says, I had a brother-in-law that took all of his kids' Halloween candy, but they all had bikes. Exactly right. Exactly right. The Nye Guy says, look up Little English Girl who has drawn on by the elf on the shelf. But I have school. Oh, really? I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
I will have to look that one up. You guys, what an amazing show today. I really appreciate you. If you haven't hit the like button, please consider doing it on the way out the door. Really appreciate that. You guys, we're so lucky to be here with you every day. Like, I hope you realize that. I'm not even joking. It's such a privilege to do this show, to be at Maverick Center, to have a community with you guys. Love it. Absolutely love it. We appreciate you every day. Thanks to the advocates who present this show on a daily basis. The best injury attorneys in Utah, Arizona, Idaho, the entire region, no doubt about it. The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Chat with a lawyer right now online, 24/7. Theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.